This is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple AG, Willie Mason, and the bro, Lukey Stowe. Boys, let's not stuff around. We had the opportunity to chat about this on Monday, right? This story broke on Monday. Yeah. We were leaving the podcast. I went up to Lukey. I said, man, do we have to address this Galvin situation straight away? Lukey come up with a really good call. He goes, just wait. Let this play out. And let's call, there will be layers to this, and mate, you are 100% right. Sometimes it's not about being first. Yeah. Sometimes it's just about watching things play out. And geez, this has played out over the last 3 or 4 days. So I'm going to go through some things with you, Mace. Yep. I've got a whole bunch of questions for you.
There's a lot to unlay.
We haven't had a chat about it too, by the way. And I've been watching everything. Been watching Our Man 360. Been watching Our Man Exclusive. Been watching Joe. Lukey's been watching Joey for us. So I've got a question here that kicks us off, and then the original statement from the West Tigers, and then the statement from Lachlan Galvin following it, and then I've got the whole bunch of questions. So this one comes from CRONULLA. OG and Scope. As a Tigers fan, I loved every bit of the statement we put out. It feels like we've finally grown a backbone. Let me start that again. OG and Scope. As a Tigers fan, I loved every bit of the statement we put out. It feels like we've finally grown a backbone and drawn a line in the sand thanks to Richo. What are your thoughts on the statement and the stance the Tigers took? Now, this is on Monday. I got this message off the back of our podcast. Love the potty. Keep ripping and a tearing. West Tigers, this is the statement. So, rising star Lachlan Galvin will not be with the club beyond the 2026 season. Galvin and player agent Isaac Moses met with West Tigers chief executive Shane Richardson. Was said to have sat down last week with the 5'8", revealing his next move. We would like to announce that Lachlan Galvin will not be with the club beyond the 2026 season, despite the club having the largest contract offer for a junior in the history of the club, which is passive-aggressive, but I love it. Lachlan and his management have decided their future lies elsewhere and were not willing to review or even talk about an offer. It should be noted that the club has no intention of releasing Lockie from his contract, and he has not requested this. Obviously, there will be a lot of speculation about the release, but we will make no further comment. The club is focused on winning as many games as possible during Lockie's tenure and beyond. The club is disappointed, but we move on. The reported offer now has almost been confirmed. 5-year, $5 million deal with an upgrade this year to make it around the $6 million. Then Lockie responded a day after. It went sort of crazy. I totally understand my decision will frustrate many West Tigers fans, but please know this wasn't an easy call to make. It's a decision that I have discussed at length with my parents, close friends and family. I'm extremely grateful for their love and support in making this call. The biggest reason I made this call is that now, so the West Tigers have enough time to plan their roster without me in the future, which is the DCE defence. You can't be using different defence. It's like it's like a chat. I called it a chat Isaac Moses defence statement that he's mixed a couple of
100% hasn't written this himself.
He mixed a couple of statements together. Now, that's the absolute truth of it. Then he went on to say the club were eager to get a deal done, and so they called a meeting with my management last week. I could have mulled over the decision all season, but I didn't think that was right to do. I thought it would be best for everyone to make the call now rather than drag it out, etc., etc. Yeah, right. I'm extremely grateful to be able to work every day. Yep, I just feel that as I move into this important period of my development as a half, this has been the big sticking point, and this is what we'll get to straight away, Mace, that I continue to build my game at a different club. Again, I know this might be hard for everyone. Everyone knows the rest of it. You've probably seen a lot of it. All right, so my question first.
Oh, I'm going to have a Red Bull.
Go, crack it. Crack the Red Bull.
Jesus Christ.
There's a lot to unload here. So here's my first question. Thoughts on Galvin's decision to leave the West Tigers to better develop as a half and as a footy player, fair or unfair, and how much of a part do you think Isaac has played in this as well?
This is very fair, and I think people are really sleeping over this, and this is why the West Tigers have got their little fucking knickers in a knot. Because he's a 19-year-old kid who doesn't want to be a part of the future there, doesn't trust Benji, doesn't trust the system, doesn't trust the administration. He's been there for 3 years. He's seen it.
Yep.
And he's like, this is not the club for me. And this is a smart little man here. It's a smart man, right? To make a decision right now in his career at 19, turning 20, you just bought Luai, you got Appy, you got all these leaders around you. And it's like, this is not the best for my development. So all these words that I'm seeing, I'm not picking up what he's talking about, right? Obviously, he's not learning much from Benji. There's rumours that he's plays golf 2 or 3 times a week. Right, there's rumours that he's not fully invested in all this sort of stuff. These are just rumours, right?
Just one thing. I think that's extreme, though. I believe like family and golf is still a big part of what Benji does.
Oh no,
I think 3 times is exaggerated.
Okay, I'll just cut that out.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll discussing
just say once a week, right? There's a lot of things, and he sees other rumours where other clubs and coaches are so invested in their young teams, in the pathways, and building the clubs. Right,
that's totally fair too.
Yeah.
By the way, Craig Bellamy wouldn't even consider playing golf. So if that's something that you look at,
this is what I'm looking at now. So this is a young kid with a smart fucking brain.
Yep.
He's smart. He knows what the West Tigers are like. What have they been doing for 10 years? They go, oh, you got such great leadership with Appy. Appy's 31. He'll be done in 2 years. They got Luai signed a 5-year deal, 2-year deal. He can get out. So then after 5 years, those two could be gone. Where's his boys there?
Fair point.
So think about that. So he's thought about that. So these are the conversations he's had with Isaac Moses. He's a 10 to 15-year player, right?
Yep.
All those guys are gone.
I think
who's his running partner? Is it De Silva? Well, he hasn't been tried and tested again. He doesn't know. Yep. Who's the 6? Who's anyone else? The Tigers have known as being a basket case for the last 10 years.
Agreed.
Does he want that? He's seen Luke Brooks go through all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right, fuck it. I'm going to make the jump early. I need to get to a strong side, a strong system, a great coach, 10 to 15-year coach that's going to invest in me and make me the best player. I want to be in the rep system. I want to be playing for Australia. I want to do all these things. Can I do it at the Tigers? No. That's what he's thinking right now.
Okay,
Give me another club.
Yep. Perfect. All right, let's get to the next part of it then.
I don't mean fucking having a crack at Benji, but they're the rumours and shit. If he's playing fucking golf once a day, and if he's not in there 24/7, I see Ciro and I see these other coaches that are there fucking 70 hours a week.
Totally fair.
That's what that Isaac Moses and whoever's in his ear is telling this kid.
Yes.
And then just go back to the fucking hatred of Isaac Moses and Benji. This is where it all gets there. That's a whole fucking another conversation.
You're going to be unravel. Yeah, I'm going to let you unravel more parts. If that's the reason that he thinks, not necessarily also just specifically about the golf situation, but like maybe he can't develop under Benji, even though people assume for me, that just because Benji was a young player who hit the scene and was a gun player and, won grand finals at the club and all that sort of stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean that a coach can translate that knowledge on. That's not a lock for that. So
say one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Benji Marshall is a fucking generational talent. You cannot coach that kid how to play. Benji, you couldn't coach Benji, right? So
yes.
That's it. Yep. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
You can't coach Benji. So Benji's mind, you're not putting that into Galvin.
But that also doesn't mean that Benji can't coach.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not that it's a guarantee.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Because a lot of people assume that just because Benji was a gun, like I've seen gun players. I know gun players that so let's revert back to a guy that I learned a whole heap of and you respect immensely. The best 7 of all time, Joey.
Yeah.
Joey, his bread and butter was halves. He didn't even contemplate coaching an entire group because he knew halves played better than him. So he stayed in his lane and maybe just wanted to do halves coaching. So there's an example of like, all right, even though I might know that position or whatever it may be, that doesn't mean I'm going to be a Trent Robinson who wasn't the most talented rugby league player, but a really good first grade. Craig Bellamy. Wayne Bennett was a winger. Like some of these great coaches don't necessarily have to be guns, or it doesn't mean that they're a gun, that they're going to be a really good coach, and it doesn't mean if you're a bad player that you can't be an elite coach. So there's a point on that. All right. So if that's his reasons, then that's probably fair enough. But I can understand why that would be a hit to the ego. So now let's get to the next part. Will this affect recruitment, and how much of a blow to your ego and a blow to what they're trying to do at the Tigers right now will this be for Benji, the Tigers, and almost like this? I feel like, and this is the frustrating part for Tigers for sure, they've been a shit fight, a poorly run franchise for 10 years plus,
15,
whatever it is.
2011.
When was the last time they made
2010.
There you go, even further back. I feel like they're just on the other end of it. Whether Benji and Shane Richardson are the answer, I don't know, but it's looking pretty good. Like 3 from 6 start, and they're showing signs of improvement. So this is the part where you're like, this is for me as a neutral going, I'd love to see Lockie be part of the rebuild here,
same,
right?
Same.
But I understand his reasons if those are his reasons. Does Benji's coaching and this new regime under Richo take a hit with recruitment of players moving forward, or can this be used as a positive, like the comment was at the start, where there could be a silver lining in this? Like, all right, he goes on and moves on, but there are clearly guys within the building that are backing Benji right now off the back of this.
Yeah, of course. But it has to take a hit.
Yeah.
If you're not, it has to. You offer a kid $5 million, 19-year-old kid, played, 30 games? Not a rep game under his belt. Hardly, not even tried and tested, had a couple of good games here and there. I look at him and go, I don't see a future captain or a future New South Wales or Australian player right now. And even in the next 3 or 4 years, I can see him develop into a really good player. But $1 million a year for 5 years?
Crazy.
And right now, and he's going to be 25 when he comes off contract, that's when he'll be peaking, around about then.
Yep.
That's when the rep jerseys will start coming in, because you start building his game. You offer that to a young kid who you thought he was going to be there for 10 years, and he just goes, no.
It's not a good look. And off the back of it.
And then the reasons why. It's the coaching. It's the administration. He's been there for 2 or 3 years. It's the recruitment. It's more than just the coach. He's been there for 3 years, right? He's come through the junior system. He knows what the recruitment's like. He knows who's in these power positions, and he doesn't like what he sees. And then you look at the coaching staff, you look at Benji, you look at whoever's he's with and surrounded by, he doesn't like that. And he doesn't like, maybe was Richo the CEO, he probably doesn't like that situation. So there's a lot of situations he's looking at is more than Benji.
Yeah.
So his kid's not dumb. Let's give him some credit. He's looking for the future and trying to get the best out of himself for this limited amount of time that we have as NRL players. 10 years, right? We're going to give him a 10-year window, 10 or 15 if he's an elite player and he can play that long.
If he's a solid player, 10 minimum.
10 minimum, he can earn 10 mil, right? He's going to cop a bit of a loss now. He's going to cop a lot of heat. He's got a lot of heat that he's willing to wear. And these are the conversations he would have sat down with Isaac Moses, with his parents, and go, this is the plan. They just offered you $5 million, Lockie. What do you want to do?
Still said no.
I'm out, boys. I'm out, Dad, whatever. And they'll support him. Isaac's like, okay, well, you're going to cop a big hit here, because how the Tigers and how Isaac Moses has handled it, it's fucking bush league. And this is where it gets real petty with the relationship with Isaac and Benji and the Tigers and everything like that, where it could have went, here's the deal, okay, gone. No one's saying anything about it till the end of the year. We'll deal with it at the end of the year. Tigers find out, Isaac find out, whatever that says no, and then it gets to the media. That's what sucks, right? They could have kept this under wraps, because there would have been about 5 people who would have known, and all they had to do was shut their mouths. And now this kid's been hung out to dry. Now he's getting hammered. That's bush league from those guys. It's bush league, because you just don't want this kid. He's got 18 months to get through. He's got this whole year. This could be a fucking breakout year for the Tigers, right? Yeah. Could be a breakout year. They're starting the year out all right. Galvin's a big part. And then you drop him to reserve grade. All these kind of things. And it's like, this is not a fucking good look. This could have been handled so much better. It could have been handled at the end of the year like a professional fucking club, right? And this even getting out in Galvin's head is like, this is the fucking reason why I'm leaving. Nothing can stay in these 4 walls ever.
That's an interesting
It's a trust thing now.
There would be...
Get me out fucking ASAP. That's what I'll be saying.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to, I'm always trying to play devil's advocate when you say things. So, like... It's almost, but it's a little bit naive to think that something like that to this level would not get out, because Lachlan Galvin now, especially looking at the market, right?
I fucking know it would have went out. I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to ask you a question off the back of it.
Would have went straight to fucking whatever.
So with Isaac, the thing with Isaac too, and he's been ruthless. I get along with Isaac, all right?
Same.
I understand the game. I'm older now. There are things that he's done in the past, 2 mates of mine that I disagree with, but there are also other managers that have done it. The thing with Isaac, and he is so ruthless, is that he knows he has had high priority players that he's managed before that have created a stir. Yeah. The Tedescos of the world when he was looking after Teddy, his cousin Mitch,
Canberra, then the Roosters.
He knows. So the thing with Isaac is he knows if he causes up a stir, no matter what, he's probably going to get the best deal for his player, and people will forget it. Like Lachlan Galvin is now the player everyone's talking about. 2 weeks ago it was Cherry. 2 weeks before that it was Dylan Brown. He knows it'll pass. He probably tells the players, but it's still not ethically, and it's not good for the player, because even though people will forget about it in a couple of weeks when there's a new story. You still got to carry that. And now Lockie, to your point with doing it so early, Lockie's going to have to carry it for the entire year. The one part I just want to ask you about with the reputation of the Tigers, and I haven't seen many people talking about this, Stefano left for the same reasons. So maybe that didn't
that's a young kid who we're looking at a 10-year player, right? When we're looking at Stefano last year, we're looking at Galvin, we're going, we're in a good position. Fayunu brothers, everything like that, everything's looking good. Buller, blah, 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 build. I went out. Yeah. Stefano, I went out to Melbourne.
On top of, so you can understand a guy like Stefano going to Melbourne, right? As a standalone. Now you look at it and go, fuck, go to play for Craig Bellamy and play Origin and, potentially, maximise your potential. That makes sense. Now with Galvin on top, you sort of start to look at it and go, maybe there is more to it. Like maybe there is a lack of coaching, a lack of administrative, whatever it may be. Maybe there are some issues that we are not totally aware of.
Exactly. Stefano, 22, I'm sure, like 22 years old, young kid going, where can I improve my game and take me to another level? Not at the Tigers. I'm going to Melbourne. What is Galvin doing right now? His growth at a 19, 20-year-old thinks that he can't get better and get to that next level. I need my game to develop. All these words that I'm hearing means, all right, I need to get to a stronger club, a strong coach, a strong culture. Everything like that, I'm just like, okay, well, fair enough. And it's ballsy what he's doing.
Yeah.
Very ballsy. So you got to give him credit. But now he's going to have to get the backlash, which is going to be brutal.
Let's get to the backlash. So the following day, Benji met with the senior playing group and they expressed their interest that they would prefer. Now, so originally it was reported that the senior player group said they didn't want to play with him. Now it's been reported that Benji made the decision, but then got the support of the senior playing group.
Okay, so that's a big thing.
So does it depend on what actually happened with your take on that?
Yeah.
Do you like?
I thought the way that they portrayed it was pretty much Luai led the charge and with the leadership and said we had the first reports of Benji wanted to play and then Luai and the boys come in and said no we don't want to play with him.
Yep.
That is fucking brutal.
Yeah.
If that happened.
How do you feel about that though?
I don't like that because if you've got this young kid who's 19 years old making a decision on his career, you've got to support that if you're the playing group. A little bit, right? Yeah. You got to feel for him. You got to understand, have some awareness, emotional awareness of what's going on in this position where Luai was in this position last year when, granted, with different situations, he's won 3 premierships, but he signed at the start of the year and had to get through last year. Granted, they won the competition. It was a beautiful ending for him.
Yep.
This is just the start of Galvin's career. And then it sort of makes sense. If Benji made the call, then it's different. It's not on the playing group.
Okay. Yeah, so you're okay with him asking their opinion and going, look, this is what I'm thinking.
Yep.
I'm going to drop them.
And then the players will support Benji.
Okay.
That's all. That's what I hope went down.
Okay.
I would not be happy if I was Galvin or anything like that. If Benji said, I want to play him and the group come over the top and went, we don't want to play with him. How would Galvin feel? That would be like you're just walking on eggshells. You don't know who to trust. You got no friends there. As a 19-year-old kid, you'd be like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here.
That's fair enough.
The players voted me out of the team. They don't want to play with me. That hurts your fucking soul. This young kid, he's a young, mature young kid, right? Great kid. We saw him at the Levels Golf Day last year. Very impressionable young man. And I'm just like, wow, if that happened as me as a 19-year-old and my brothers and that didn't want to play with me because of my decision to better myself and try and go somewhere else, that would fucking cut me to the core and I would want out straight away.
Okay, that's fair enough. Fully understand your reasons. I'm okay with it.
Fucking cop the loss and fucking get the money, get the fuck out.
I'm okay with it. I think for all the reasons we talked about before of how the Benji's coaching, how the club is going to be viewed, and then, guys like Appy, Jerome Luai, wanting to progress not only with the Tigers and under Benji, I'm okay with them going for a number of reasons. One, because in their mind, this is a direct blow to Benji not only as a coach, but as a human and to his ego. So that's the reasons I understand it. And also, if he does not want to be a part of the plans and the development of what the Tigers are trying to do, they need to find out whether Adam Dewey is going to be.
There's another rebel, please.
Here you go, crack that, smack that. Boom.
Thank you. No, all good, all good.
So he needs to find out. The playing group with Benji need to find out, is Adam Dewey going to be a long-term replacement? I don't think he is. I think it's going to be, if anything, that's right, I got him one. I think Latu Fainu is probably the better proposition moving forward. And so during this period, I'm happy for the playing group to say, look, even though we want to win this year, he's not going to be a part of what we're trying to build here.
What about next year?
Yeah, or next year. Look, we'll get to that.
That's what I'm like. It's just, this is not just 1 week, right? This is fucking 18 months.
No, so there's layers. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to go and ask you another question off the back of it. So I'm okay with them going to Benji, having a meeting, senior players. All right, because of what was said and the tone and some of the things that were.
Nice. Sorry, yeah,
you're right. That let's sit him. The part that I didn't like, I hated the social media posts. Jerome, and for the reasons that you said, and especially Taruva's was really out of taste. So Taruva had a picture of Lachlan Galvin's bag with money signs on it.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. It wasn't like...
Close friends, it was leaked.
It was, who gives a shit? Like, if you put it on close friends, we understand.
Who cares?
Older heads don't understand. Like... You know the world we live in, that's going to get shared.
Come on.
It was a little bit subtle from Jerome. I still don't like what Jerome did as well. I don't like, you can have your thoughts and you can be as ruthless and brutally honest to Lachlan within the four walls. But the part that pisses me off is this is a nature of their age growing up in this level of social media where...
That's how they deal with things.
Passive aggressively, this is how like people communicate with each other.
Yep,
but
I get it.
I can't feel like
we're old school.
I hate being saying that.
No. We're different generation, mate. I was mentally already psychologically built before social media.
Correct.
So if this was a fucking problem, Lockie, come here, mate.
Yeah.
The fuck you doing?
Yeah.
Grab him in there before, even if he's making his decision, you go in there. We're not happy with this shit, mate.
Yeah.
As a leadership group, don't fucking worry about Benji or anything like that. You grab the leadership group. Lockie, come here, kid. What's happening? What are you doing? Yeah. Get it off his chest. All right, done. Let's deal with it. How are we going to do it? Are you going to fucking kill it? Are you going to rip him for us for the next 18 months? Are you in?
Yeah.
Yep. Fuck it. Shake hands and fucking get along with it. It's a business. Right? It's very fucking petty on the phones, and it's not, this shit is different than fucking this, right? For leadership, if you're a real fucking man, ring the little fucker, get in the office, get the CEOs, get everyone in. You sit down here like grown-ass men. Lockie, what's going on? You want out? Yep. You got 18 months to fucking be here.
Are you going to rip in for us?
You're fucking going to tear in and fucking be the best player you can.
Yep.
Yes. Shake hands, shut the fuck up, get out and just train on there. You want to play this week, but you're not fucking playing this week because we're fucking angry now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fair.
That's it. That's how you deal with it. You don't put subliminal shit on phones, right?
Look, and then so the reports are as well that there was a meeting that happened where Benji asked him to address the group, and going through and knowing the situation, and I can see similarities with what happened to Ches back in the day, where there was reports of stories that were embellished is probably the, depending on which side you talk to, there's three sides to every story. Yeah. But the reports are Lockie, in addressing the group, didn't go down well, and he maybe the key message or statement that he said is, you do you and I'll do me, off the back. And maybe, right, he's a 19-year-old kid, hasn't worded this right. I'm not going to completely condemn him. But
is that quote for quote? He said that?
That's what's been reported. But I'm using
Ches. Get punched in the fucking head.
But I'm using Ches as a reference, mate. Okay, this is why we've got to be careful with it, because it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But I'm trying to make sure we cover everything and could sort of understand both sides. And here's the part that you sort of answered for me right then. And the question was going to be, can Galvin win the playing group back and play for the West Tigers? Don't even worry about next year. Like the next year thing, I think, that's another question I'll get to in a bit.
Yeah.
Can he play in 2025? And do you think specifically after the post, that he would even want to?
That's where we're sitting right now, which is a very hard question for this young kid. As I said, if this all went down the way I'm thinking, right, I'm going with Benji approach the leadership group and said, I'm thinking about not playing him. Do you agree?
Yep.
Yes. So I'm thinking that.
And I'm okay with
the
that.
other way around.
Yep.
Not the players, we don't want to play.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm thinking that. So I think he can get back in the team, right?
Yep.
And he can play his best football.
I'd love to see him just rip in, put his head down.
If he's about it, right? And
Yep.
he's just gone, okay, well, I'm all in. This is when another meeting has to happen. Get through your Easter, eat some fucking bunny rabbits and chill the fuck out, right? After on the Monday, and then have a meeting on the Tuesday or Wednesday and sit down like grown-ass men and go, are you in? I'm in.
They're not eating They're not eating bunny rabbits, by the way. They're playing the eels, not the rabbits. So
They're eating bunny rabbits.
They play on Friday. They're a good Friday.
Yeah, have a fucking Easter egg, get through the win, and then have a meeting on Monday, sit down, leadership group, coach, Galvin, you all in? Yep. We trust you. Let's go.
Okay, so a lot of emotional shit, and I fully agree. I hope he goes in, he rips in for New South Wales Cup, and I don't necessarily want to see him injected straight back into first grade straight away to whether the West Tigers lose for whatever reason or he kills the New South Wales Cup. I'd like to see 3 or 4 games and the New South Wales Cup coach and the New South Wales Cup senior players that are playing in that report that he's put his head down, he isn't back here sulking, he's ripping in and he's playing well.
The best player, he's the best trainer.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I want to see from Lockie now because of everything that's just happened. Do you think he will be at the club in 2026?
If the Tigers are smart, no, I don't think so. I just and as I said before, if you pick up a lot of things that he's saying, and everyone's just saying, yeah, he's going to be at Parramatta. Why would you be at Parramatta? There's not that's it. That culture's right on its knees at the moment, right now. It's not development-wise, right?
But they're in a rebuild. So
does he want to rebuild? Fucking Tigers are rebuilding. I don't know. There's some other clubs out there that are that way.
Yeah, trying to recruit him to the blue and white again, are you? No. Hey, here's a big reason. There's an agent with the same last name as the halfback.
I know, I understand that.
That is a huge link that you've got to consider. So if you are, right, so you've answered my question there. The next question would be, if you're the Tigers then, do you either dig your heels in knowing that he is going to get what he wants basically and go to a club and you know, if you really think that Isaac has agitated this to get him a release, because he's only on 350. There's a world in which the Tigers could dig their heels in. And then also on the flip side, and then like really send a statement, play him in New South Wales Cup. But also, if you're going to do this the smart way in good business, would you contemplate a proper player swap for someone like Lachlan Galvin if you do go to the Eels, Manly, Dogs, Roosters, wherever he may end up?
Yeah, you would. You would have to. You just like try and get the best out of him this year and see what can happen. And then that's going to have to be another conversation
at the end of the year.
And then you're like, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay another year? We might have a chance to have a crack at the finals. We don't know, who we're going to recruit, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I just don't think he wants to. Right? Why would you want to? You want out. Do you reckon if he could get an out right now and go, he'd go?
He'd go in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So what's the difference in 10 months?
Yeah, it would really if you wanted to be really petty and be the Tigers, dig your heels in. He's only on 350.
Yeah, you could and get the best out of him. And he's only
not even get the best out of him. Just
he's only going to be 21 too.
It would hugely decrease his value. Now a team is still going to see the 25 or so games that he's played in NRL and go, we're still sweet. We know he's playing New South Wales Cup because of this reason, X and Y. But there will be another out of sight, out of mind for a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think just say I'll just a couple of the words that he said with coaching, with development of him being a rugby league player and getting the best out of him. That's what I'm like, what club does all that? Do you know what I mean? Can it be Manly? Can it be Bulldogs? Could it be the Roosters? You know what I mean? These are teams that need 5'8", so he can easily play halfback as well. He's a half. That's the way the halves and 5'8", they're both sides of the ruck. I'm looking at that.
Let's go through the 4 teams that have been. So if you to develop under probably the best coaching and then a really steady front office, I would probably go Roosters number 1 for that reasoning. Yep. You guys number 2 at the Bulldogs, and then maybe Manly, then Parramatta, right?
Yeah.
3-4 because even though I believe in Jason Rolls, it's just I haven't seen it. Like
he's 3 years off.
I predict it.
He's 3 years off.
If I'm looking to better my career with the best possible player and play my premium position, Parra then become number one, playing outside of Mitch and learning from a veteran like that, still in his prime. Yeah. Probably the Roosters 2 with Sam Walker. Maybe even Brooks 3, and for Bulldogs, you guys last because I don't think him and
Burdo. You look at him and Burdo.
I don't think him and Burton would mesh together.
Well, I just look at the way that Luai and Galvin plays now. It looks all right. You know, you can have 7s running around the field and 6s holding that left edge, which Luai does, and Galvin just pretty much runs everything else. Yeah, okay. He does that already. You know, he can play that, even though Luai's a 7. Luai's predominantly on the left. You know what I mean? Like where Birdo was predominantly on the left as well, where Galvin just runs wherever he wants. He just plays football, eyes up football. He's on everything. He's the fittest bloke out there on the field. So I look at things like that and I'm like, and then I look at the Roosters and I'm like, Teddy, how many years you got left in you? Always need a good fullback. I think he can almost play fullback as well.
It's pretty hard to predict the roster outside of just like that's why I'm specifically staying with the halves.
You look at age groups and you look at just so he's going to have the luxury of watching this all year play out.
Yeah,
and go all right. Just say if the Bulldogs get to a grand final, if Manly get to a top 4, if the Roosters fall right off or they come back and start making the top 8, and you're like, okay, there's a future there. Sam Walker's in there. He's a good future 7. I could play 6. You got Toya in the centres. You got all these young kids coming through, forwards are coming through. You're like, okay, because the Roosters never have years off, right? They just build. They end up coming back and fucking, you know, they won't make the 8 one year, and then they'll fucking win a grand final. Yeah. In 2012, then win one in 13. Do you know what I mean? Then miss round 16, and then win 17. You know, do you know what I mean? They're sort of like that.
But the big problem with the Roosters thing, and this is why
salary cap.
No, the salary cap's never been an issue. The Moses. So this is where
that's the problem with the Dogs.
So when you look at relationships,
didn't Gus mend that?
Hey,
did he mend it?
Everyone's saying that Gus.
Apparently, Gus is more. This is the report. Because of this really unique situation, people think Gus is a smart operator. Is smart, mate. You want to win. He knows how to play a guy like Isaac. A guy like Isaac Moses won't play Gus, but if you then now let's go to this ranking in terms of relationship with Isaac Moses. Number 1 is now Manly because he manages Seabold and he's put guys like Aaron Woods in Manly in recent years, Matt Lodge, all guys that would never have got gigs anywhere else, right? So there's a relationship there. And apologies for that's a drive-by on those boys. But at this point of your career, boys, that is just facts. Like those guys wouldn't have got gigs anywhere else. So there's a strong relationship between Siebes and Moses. Number 2 would be Parramatta. I feel like it would be more of a clean slate. There's a new administration there that probably have a relationship with Isaac, but there's probably not as much burnt bridges as there would have been when Brad was there because Brad is the Orr brothers and Gav, Isaac obviously hate each other. So that's probably number 2. Number 3 would be Gus because Gus knows how to play the game. And apparently Uncle Nick wants nothing to do with him. So that's where the Roosters decrease. There's not a clear suitor because sometimes one thing looks good on one side. There's another factor.
There's a lot of variables. Yes. It's very nuanced. And I'm just thinking like when you know you need a 5'8" and you know that there's a young kid on there, you fucking mend this stupid relationship here with Uncle Nick and Moses. Just don't deal with I don't know. It can be fixed. It can be fixed. Teddy's there.
But Teddy's
not with him anymore. Jeez.
That's the reason. That's the main reason.
That was one of the reasons, yeah. Okay, so that can just...
Suoliti drama.
Okay, yeah, well...
You threw, when Chaz was on SEN, you said Chaz to Penrith. Would you consider the same?
Yeah, but even Ivan come out. So Ivan's really particular what he said. He also didn't shut down Chaz or Galvin, but he just said, we can't afford them.
Yeah.
So they would have to come here for a discount price.
Yeah. And
you
do it 3 years ago, not now.
Well, I completely wouldn't rule it out too with either of them. Like Blaze Talungi's a perfect example. He took less to go to Penrith because he looked at it as an opportunity to develop as a player. No one people understand. See, that's why I went back to the Stefano thing early on. Everyone understood development because you leave the West Tigers, who have been a basket case for 10 years, to go to Melbourne. Everyone understood it, even though we hate, like Parramatta fans hated it, and Lukey, because they could see a real player in Blaze Talungi. You're like, he is going to develop better currently at the Panthers system. Now, if Lachlan Galvin does that and ends up at either, at a Panthers or whatever. And Ivan is the sort of guy that, I don't know, I haven't heard much about Ivan having or Penrith having any real dramas with any player managers, because they have I believe they have a certain threshold. Like, they've happily let players walk in the past who haven't met where they deem the value to be. So if the manager wants anything to do with Penrith, they've got to then go to the Penrith, all right, this is what our price is, and then we're not going to budge, and then therefore you cannot be controlled by the managers. That's the difference between someone like Penrith. Last question.
Just one thing I want to say is, like, with the phones, online bullying and all that sort of shit, just back off this kid. Back off. And if I was going to tell him anything, Lachlan, get off Instagram, get off social media, and don't look at the comments, mate, because it'll fucking kill you. Yeah. It'll really ruin your day. So just jump off that. Have some good people. So, just be with your family and friends, people that love you. Don't look at that shit, right? Don't read papers. Don't do anything. Just stay out and just concentrate on playing footy. That's it.
Just a couple more, yeah, well said. Could it be a blessing in disguise for the Tigers? Like, here's the last little bit. So at the core of this, right, they were going to pay a 19 young player who remember I brought up Lachlan Galvin 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I said Macy's going to get north of 750, and you go, fuck off, no way. I
still wouldn't pay him that.
Yeah, exactly right. So here's the silver lining part of it. There's no way you would personally pay a player, because and this is 100% fair. He's unproven. Now, we all think he's going to be a gun, but that doesn't necessarily. I remember at the time thought, fuck, Luke Brooks is going to be a fucking gun. Now, he was a really solid footy player, but he hasn't nowhere near reached the heights that when Joey said he was going to be the next coming of the Joey or whatever. So nothing's guaranteed. They get an opportunity now, and they're building something special. Got a really good front row pairing. The Jerome Luai, this could give him the opportunity to not only re-up, but maybe they tweak Jerome Luai's deal now, because he has options in his favour. Taruva's playing well. Scoutland's playing well. So there is a bit of a silver lining in all this. This could be a blessing in disguise. And they could... What if Latu Fainu becomes the guy with Jerome now on a discounted price, and then they get to re-up him? So
that's what you always try and look for, a silver lining. It has to happen. Someone next man up. That Fainu kid, he can play, man. He can play. And it's now, crazy. You want to give him the 6 or the 7 and just go for it, mate.
And as crazy as this sounds, like, this feels like this could have proper Lockie galvanised the entire franchise, team moving forward. Like, they've drawn a line in the sand, and this could be a turning point for the club as a whole. Like, we're not going to be dictated to by Isaac Moses. We're not going to let a 19-year-old run roughshod over us. We've got players that have supported our head coach, and we buy in and we move together as a team. Last one, sorry, this is the last one and we're done. He plays New South Wales Cup on Monday, 12 p.m. at Lincoln Oval. First grade play at 4 p.m. at CommBank. What would you do if you're Lockie Galvin?
I'll be playing. You'd have to.
No, playing is no. So he's going to play. He's playing New South Wales.
You want to, and then go to the game?
Would you go to the game after?
Me being a 19-year-old kid? No.
Yeah. What would you, as a senior player, now you're Jerome Luai, would you want to see him at the game after everything that's happened? Or
I wouldn't expect him at the game.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect him at the game, and I wouldn't be angry if he wasn't at the game.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be thinking, just play your game and then just go home and just let it all simmer down.
Yeah.
Him being there, the cameras are going to be on him, right? If it was smart, if it's a smart play from the Tigers, if he's there, camera's going to be panning on him the whole time.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So just, like, get him out of the limelight and out of the cameras and media as much as you can. If his management saying that, or that's the club doing that, the media and everything like that, just play your game, go home, kid.
Yep, agreed.
I'll see you training on Tuesday or whatever it is, and then we'll just deal with it then.
Can I ask, do you think he comes out and does like a face to camera instead of just an Instagram statement?
No, I don't want him to do that too. I want him to, what May said, there needs to be another meeting Tuesday, Wednesday morning. Do your review, have a day off, everyone gather their thoughts. Jerome, Benji, Appy, who else is a senior member?
I think, is in there.
Seyfarth, maybe, yeah.
Twal and
whoever it may be.
Terrell.
Maybe the 3 or 4 senior, maybe Terrell May, have another sit-down chat with him, right? This is what's happened this week. This was out of line. This is maybe a part where we could have been better.
Didn't mean that. Emotions were high.
Rip in at New South Wales Cup. and you might get an opportunity later in the year. But like, show us that you're dedicated to us this year, and let's move on.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's the best way to do it.
That's the only way to do it.
I don't think it'll happen though.
Well, what happens if Para pump West Tigers by 40? Could happen. You know, it could happen.
Mitch Moses is
It
back.
could happen. Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, you know, yeah, exactly. Para pump him.
What about the irony of just Moses, the manager, absolutely rissoling the Tigers through the week, and then Moses on Monday absolutely rissoling the Tigers on the scoreboard on Monday, Easter Monday.
It's going to happen. I feel like something like that is going to happen, and then Lockie would sort of be like, they sort of need me,
Vindicated.
mate. You know, vindicated. Like, you know, I'm an NRL player. I'm not a New South Wales Cup player.
If I'm a Tigers fan, am I looking at my other Isaac Moses managed players on the roster being a bit nervous? Because they've got Jareem Buller.
Jareem Buller. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just.
That's a fucking good one, Lukey. Great addition.
Does he? Is it like the Roosters thing where they're like, "Fuck, we're not just going to deal with you, mate"?
I can't see a world back from this. Nah, I can't. If I'm the Tigers,
Let me look up when he's due.
He only just got re-upped. They re-upped him at the start of last year before he exploded. So I think he got a 2 or 3 year deal.
What if he gets bullied?
Pardon?
What if he gets bullied?
He wouldn't get bullied. No, because it depends on the way you go about it.
End of 27.
I don't understand with these managers, man. You only talk to them about two or three times a year.
Yeah.
Not much, man. They come in like when Isaac Moses comes in, you know he's in for a deal. He makes this much of a mess. It nearly ruins clubs. That's why a lot of clubs don't want to deal with him and they don't like him.
So they have an option to retain him for a salary no less of $900,000 at the end of 2027.
Who's that?
Buller.
Far out, right?
Should Buller not secure a contract elsewhere, has the option remain to the Tigers at a reduced salary of approximately $800,000.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Young kid.
I thought they liked, and maybe they still did. You can tell from watching that documentary that they have a really high opinion of Jareem Buller, and you can tell the playing group love him. I believe this is just now because I haven't thought about this. This is just on the run. If I'm the senior playing group, I wouldn't be surprised if they start pressuring him to get out under Isaac. If he is going to stay at the Tigers,
has anyone ever had any manager been so just? What is it? Controversial in the game on Isaac Moses?
Gavin Chris have had there.
I've never had a bad run in with Isaac. He's never looked after me or anything like that. I did a thing out at fucking Tamworth with something, whatever. He just comes up, hey mate, how you going? Like I'm like, and I was just thinking, oh, that's Isaac, because I've never really fucking had it in. I've got some shit things to say about him, but he don't give a fuck. Hey, mate's doing really good on levels. This and that's going really well. I was like, yeah, thanks. And then I went, was that fucking Isaac Moses? And someone goes, yeah. I said, oh, seems pretty cool. You know, just for that one moment. And I'm just like, I just treat people how they treat me. And he obviously hasn't fucked me over or anything like that. But I'm like, yeah, cool. Yeah, I've had a great day.
I've known Isaac my whole life, so I was good mates with Mitch's older brother Steve growing up. Like we used to hang around the same circle. So I didn't know Mitch was dramatically younger, maybe 5 or 6 years younger. So we weren't in the same circles, but I've known about Isaac for years, and he had heaps of para players.
This is how far I go back with Isaac. So in 98, 99, we went to Stadium Australia. When Stadium Australia, Todd Greenberg was the GM of Stadium Australia. Todd Greenberg used to work for the Dogs, and Isaac Moses was his general manager. Yeah. That's in like 99, 2000, before you even started managing. And then like through the whole 2000s, he was never a big dog manager, right? Because you still had your Ayubs and all these Mimuses and all these sort of blokes. And then all of a sudden, like Isaac Moses is Cam Smith's manager. I'm like, the fuck's Isaac Moses? The guy used to work with Todd Greenberg. Todd Greenberg's fucking CEO of like the NRL and that now, but that's where they started. Toddy was at the Dogs just doing like commercial or something like that. And then he had Isaac Moses at when the Stadium Australia got built in like 99, 2000 for the Olympics, and they ran that. That's how I know Isaac Moses. Then the next time I saw him was in Tamworth last year.
Long time between drinks.
Speaking of Tigers on social media, I thought you might like this as well.
Yeah,
Dropped at about 9 p.m. last night. A new vlog in the sheds with Terrell May.
Oh, he's the best.
Of all weeks. So you can sort of get a bit of a gauge straight after the win. Hang on, where's the volume?
It's a good vibe.
So Lockie would have known at this point what's going on.
Yeah, the reports were it would happen on Thursday.
And then Taruva picks up the camera and just goes mental.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that later.
It's been a couple of weeks, but we're back. We're with Habibi.
It's a new generation,
And that's what sort of sucks. Like when you look at the vibe, they obviously after a win, the vibes are high, right?
Yeah.
Every energy's high, and he would have known at that time. And like, it's just this. Imagine, after this week's game, it's just like
I wonder what level. It feels like no one else knows it at that point. Maybe Shane Richardson just kept it to himself. Maybe Benji and Shane Richardson knew, and then they didn't say anything to the playing group.
It cuts to Benji. He's having a little super dry.
Yeah, nice.
Treating him
low
Is it?
carb. Was it low carb?
low carb.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
I just find that funny.
Yeah, that is. Now I want to go watch that after. All right,
Mad vlogs.
there we go. Fuck, what's that? Nearly an hour.
Right, that's to get done, mate. It's just it's a
56
big.
minutes of nearly on.
It was
that?
a big
Yeah.
it's a big thing. There's a lot to unravel there. And I'm just like, that's how I feel on it. There's a lot of layers, but
Did you?
There-
Would you have a transfer window, or do you enjoy the theatre of all this? Because that's what Joe was blowing up about.
Do you think it should be a transfer window?
No.
Nah, fuck it. Like if you've got the balls to do this right now, deal with the fucking pressure. Deal with it. If you want to do this to a club and yourself, deal with what comes.
As a fan, I don't enjoy knowing that for nearly 2 years, I've got a guy there that's definitely
This is
going.
super unique.
But at the end of the
Very
day,
unique.
his contract was due at the end of that time anyway, so he could have been moving on.
Could have been handled a lot better, but if you want to, as I said, when they sit around these tables and you go, okay, this is what's going to happen, you're willing to deal with this? Yes, let's go. So he knew it was coming.
So
So the transfer portal window, leave it.
the problem is like there'll be more. This is unique right now, but because of the November 1 deadline, if you have a player of this potential, there will be more of this in the future because you need to know. Like you need to get it locked in because then you got to start planning for it. If it doesn't. The reason they would have forced it, Richardson, which I love from the Tigers as well, is because they need to know if he's not going to stay and they've put that sort of offer in front of him. If he doesn't accept that offer, he's not going to accept any offer.
And if
he's done.
Yeah, so if he sat on it, let me sit on it for like
November, yeah.
3 months,
Yeah.
and still negotiate little things, knowing that you're not staying.
Yeah.
So it's just a very unique situation. This is the only way they could have dealt with it. Maybe the Tigers shouldn't offer him that deal right now. Maybe towards the end of the year. But in saying that, the Tigers, as I said, they need time to try and get and recruit another player. Good luck. There's no one out there.
All right. Also, good luck and congratulations to the Volk. I don't
Yes.
think we spoke about this enough, and I don't think Australian media is speaking about this enough. Shout out to the couple of boys who messaged us. Jimmy Reid, Volk not getting the OG bull is crazy work, but mates, two-time champion, first fighter 155 or below to win a title, past 35 years old. So that's the big number.
Yeah, sorry, Volk.
And the
Jeez.
first ever to win an undisputed title coming off the back-to-back finish losses. So shout out to Jimmy. Damien Kurd said, hey, boys, not related, but surely Volk is the greatest Australian athlete of all time. Just broke the over 35 curse and the Drake curse on the same day. So shout out to the Volk. Unbelievable. That 35
He's a
curse.
weapon, man. I love how he was an ex-rugby league player as well, and he supports the game. What a legend. What an ambassador for the UFC and Australia and fucking everything, rugby league. Like, I want to get him on this fucking podcast next year.
Because he's so humble, he doesn't really
Yeah.
get the
He's just a
notoriety
knock-around
worldwide.
bloke, mate. You know, like...
You guys wouldn't have seen this. I want to read this. So Tim Zoo put a post up last night. I thought this was really cool. So Tim Zoo, obviously similar situation coming off the back of 2 losses.
Yep.
Volk sent him a DM and Tim Zoo posted it. It says, hey brother, this is from Volk. I'm sure you're disappointed right now, but you're still a beast and you still got plenty of time. I know you'll be back. You never shy away from a challenge, and that mindset is why I know you'll bounce back better than ever. We wouldn't be half the men we are if we didn't challenge ourselves every day. Like I said, you still got plenty of time in this sport to work on what is needed. Enjoy some rest, brother, and get back at it.
Yeah, dog. Woo!
That's
I
cool,
love
eh?
that shit.
That's mad.
Fucking oath.
Peak athlete to peak athlete.
Yeah, fucking oath.
Good
and
mindset,
both
mate.
dealt with adversity in the last couple of years, and both now are trending back
And
towards.
it's not like they didn't get beat on points. They got fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the difference in the combat sport. When you might get done by the refs the umps or something like that.
mentally scarred.
Yeah, but when you're getting dealt with, like to come back like Zoo did, and especially Vol, he's my fucking midweek Red Bull OG of the week.
There we go.
Done, mate. He is it. I just totally forgot about it because I wasn't all over the fights. I only watched highlights, so I couldn't really fucking get into it but I watched it all week. Fucking animal. Absolute animal. Love him.
Speaking of animals, let's throw to the Money Man, Cam Munster, brought to you by Athlete. Back with our man, Cam Money Munster. This episode is brought to you by Athlete. They are the best in the business for joint and muscle and pain relief, and they are built ultra tough for you, your family, and the best athletes. Remember, as always, Luke will share the link in the bio for all these episodes. The boys have absolutely been killing it. Money and Foz. People are loving this segment. And it's proudly brought to you by Athlete. So, for your chance to win a performance and recovery pack valued at $500, get your questions into the comment section. And we're going to start with the comment section for this one. I've just lost the note there. And this one comes from this week, Money. And question for this week is, hey boys, love the potty. Question for you and Money. How much of the half and back rowers combination is verbal and how much is looking for cues from each other? For example, knowing when to hit early, running an overs line, running an unders line, and when to put a kick through for your back rower. And also, I'll just elaborate on that a little bit. It's a really good question too, Lachlan. Money, what's the difference between how you would approach games with a guy like Sean Bloor, who you've only had, roughly 12 months together, compared to when you played with a guy like Kenny Bromwich for 5 years and you just knew him inside and out?
Yeah, that's a good question, Lachlan, and Scope. I think obviously Blory and Kenny are completely different players. I think with Blory, he was obviously a quiet Pacific Islander, and he comes to the club with a lot of injuries and a lot of obviously speculation and question marks over himself, whether he'll get himself consistently playing football each and every year. But mate, he's an absolute talent of a player. I'm very lucky to have him in our team, and I think he's gone leap and bounds this year. I think myself and him have really obviously got a really good connection after seeing Jerome and Ali Katoa have that combination last year. Myself and him always go and get coffees, have lunch, catch up just to try and build that combination and try and have a bit of a more of an understanding of each other. With Kenny, Kenny was probably pretty much the brains of, or not the brains, but he was pretty much the orchestrator in that edge. He's always told me what he wanted. Where Glory's starting to get that now, where I feel like the first 12 months it was kind of relying on me heavily to be able to call those shapes and be able to call those cues like you spoke about and be able to manipulate the defence. But Glory's just come leap and bounds this year. He's obviously coming out with certain shapes and telling me what he's been seeing and what he thinks that I should be running. So it's just making my job even easier and making me look a lot better. So, yeah, I like you speak about, sometimes it's on the half, but sometimes it's on the back row too. And like you spoke about with those combinations, I don't really have to look a whole heap anymore. I just tell him to start on the half. And if he feels like I'm absorbing on the 4, he'll come and hit inside 3. If not, if he feels like I can get to 3, he'll bounce out on that lead line or inside that centre where we've had some joy the last couple of weeks. So I think with my hips getting fixed up, we've got a little bit more speed now. But, I pretty much just rely on Glory to start on the 3-man and he picks a hole, and hopefully I pick the right decision.
Yeah, it's a really good question, isn't it, from Lachlan? When you were coming through, Money, it's when Kenny was really establishing himself, so you would have had a lot of trust in him. Just for any position, in particular on your left edge, both Sean and even Jack Howarth have really emerged in the last 12 months. But just from me playing that position and outsider looking in, and then sort of what you're saying there is you're starting to put a little bit more trust in them into, all right, what are you guys saying? Predominantly, you're going to dominate the cause, but maybe given them, they've earned the license after a solid, 12 months together now, where you maybe give them a little bit of leeway to come up with a play or two.
Yeah, of course. I think when it comes to the experience, and they've got a little bit more confidence as well. I think that was the connection piece that we're missing, I felt like we were probably on the training paddock we were tight, but off the field we weren't, So just building that, obviously those combinations together off the field that they feel like they can come to me confidently and be able to ask me what they're seeing and telling me what they're seeing. So just trusting a little bit more in each other's ability. And I think it's just showing this year. I think we've probably scored more tries on our left edge than we ever have the last 2 years, so it's working really well. Hopefully we can build on that. But yeah, it's just showing it training and just those little an hour, 2 hours here at a cafe, having a chat and seeing how we're going and what we're seeing and what we think's our best shapes and what they're seeing in the defensive line. This obviously builds that confidence like you spoke about. But I had Tohu Harris as well. Like I've had some really good back rowers in my time. And he was pretty experienced before Kenny, so yeah, I've had some great back rowers, and Blue is going to establish himself as one of the best back rowers, I reckon, in the competition this year. But everything takes time, and he's just building those confidence and those repetitions, and I feel like he's getting the awards that he deserves at the moment.
Like this has been something we've talked about on the potty over the last couple of episodes. I believe it was someone from the Melbourne Storm. I don't know if he was your CEO or who it may have been, but there was an ambition. There was a lot of ambitious talk about you guys, Melbourne Storm, taking a game to the MCG. I just wanted to get your opinion on, like, I know the Melbourne Storm's been a strong club there for a while. You're obviously in AFL territory. Do you think the game, with how far we've progressed and how far you've progressed down there in Melbourne, do you think you're in a good spot and could really, I don't know, like, go close to reaching capacity at a game like MCG if it was done on the right weekend? Now, one of those factors is being tossed up is doing it on Gather Round when all the teams are away down in Adelaide. There'd probably be more fans that'd be open to and attending AFL fans attending a rugby league game. What's your thoughts on all that, mate? And do you think you could? Would you like to play in a packed out MCG in just a Melbourne Storm format, like an NRL format game?
Yeah, I played an Origin game there. I think we had 100,000. Look, it's pretty hard to play on an oval field compared to a rectangle. You look at stadiums like Amy Park, Suncorp Stadium, those type of grounds that are really tight, really close with the crowd. There's no better feeling. I feel like sometimes when you're so far away on an oval, you forget the crowd's even there. So look, it'd be iconic and very exciting for us as a group to be able to play at the MCG, being so many cricket games and so many AFL and so many great contests that have actually been played at the MCG. But you never know. You can always try it, trial it out like I spoke about and gather around. Hopefully we get more than 50,000 people. 100,000 is probably far-fetched other than being an Origin game. But Melbourne love their sport down here. We know that very well. But yeah, like we got 26,000 obviously mad Melbourne fans and Warriors fans on the weekend on a Sunday. It was beautiful. So that was packed out, sold out. So, and there could have been more people wanting to come, but unfortunately couldn't get tickets. So you just don't know. So look, they might trial it next year or the year before, and it'd be pretty exciting to be able to play there with the Storm. And if we can get 50,000, I think that's something that I think is an easy thing to do. So maybe more than that's probably pushing it, but I think 50,000 is probably pretty cool to be able to get somewhere like the MCG to be packed out with 50,000. So yeah, that'd be huge. I'm not expecting anything more, but.
Yeah, I'm with you on the cricket grounds. I played at the SCG a couple of times, during my career. Found it really tough. Found it just weird, just threw you off. But because I love my cricket and I'm a fan of all sports, I really appreciated the build up of it and being in the locker rooms and all that, all that sort of stuff that come with it. But actually playing on the field felt quite weird, like playing on an oval. So, it'd be a cool thing, a box to tick for a lot of the players that aren't lucky enough to play at your talent and play in. I'd imagine they've not only played State of Origins there, but they probably would have played some test footy there over the years, maybe not in your era, but maybe in previous years. So I think it would be cool. Like, it's very ambitious from the NRL and Melbourne Storm to even be thinking like that. Like, the game must be in a really good spot to be going Melbourne, Heartland, MCG, and trying to pack out a stadium for a Melbourne Storm game. It's like, I think it speaks volumes about where rugby league is at the NRL is at the moment.
Yeah, you knocked it on the head right there, Scope. I think rugby league's probably getting a little hype at the moment in Melbourne, and it's rightly so. Like, I think if Melbourne keep winning games and keep being competitive each and every year, I think it just gets the noise pumping. I think with a lot of teams at the moment in Melbourne probably struggling with AFL at the moment, like a lot of those fans are probably struggling, like Carlton, Richmond, like those diehard fans aren't really winning a whole heap of games. So their second or their other team is probably the Storm. So and we're actually winning games at the moment. So I think it just shows that that's probably why they come into our games a lot more. The hype around it all. But yeah, like you said, we played a couple of games at Etihad, Marvel Stadium, and packed it a little bit, around 30,000. But for me personally, like, it's very hard to get to Docklands, as you probably would know, being in Melbourne. Like, have you come to Melbourne a couple of times?
Yep.
It's very hard to get to that area, and parking, and it's not ideal. Where you play at the MCG, even though it's a tough, obviously, stadium to fill. You've got the Richmond station just there. You've got a lot of pubs. A bit like when you talk about Magic Round and Gather Round in Adelaide and Brisbane. You can go to the Caxton, you can walk down the street, you know. So like, there's a lot of bars and stuff there. So you can just easily go to a pub and walk up to the game. Like, that's what's Melbourne's so great. And if we can do that at MCG, I'll be pretty surprised. I'll be pretty confident we can get 50,000 there. So
I'm hearing also there's a really popular influx of a lot of Pacific Islanders down in Melbourne and the outskirts of Melbourne and in some of the areas. And you've got like the product of a guy like Saul Falongo, who's progressed through the system down in Melbourne. It's good signs for rugby league down there, because with the different levels of conditioning for compared from NRL to AFL, it really suits the Pacific Islanders more than it does AFL. So that's another big part about some of the boxes that you guys have been ticking down there in Melbourne. But let's move on to ticking the box. And Rory McIlroy has ticked the box, mate. He's got the Grand Slam. 4 majors are done and dusted. This is the one he's always wanted to watch. I know you love your golf, man. You talk a lot about it, golf all the time. We still haven't had that game that we played down in Melbourne last year, but we still haven't had that trip at the end of the year because
no, we haven't.
We're making Australian teams, mate. So maybe don't try to do that at the end of the year.
Putting Dean's taking my jersey anyway, so we're right.
What do you think of the Masters, mate? Run us through like the final day. Were you riding Rory? Do you like Rory? Are you a Rory fan? Are you Liv? Because I know you went down with Fish and partied down at Adelaide. Are you Liv? Are you PGA? Where do you stand on the performance of Rory in this Masters just gone?
Oh, I think everyone around the golfing world, or even around the sporting world, I think they're pretty happy with someone like Rory to win it. 11th time he's obviously gone and tried out or tried to play in the Masters and win. So he almost butchered it. But I thought that's always an interesting one, because you obviously, like, I love my golf, and you always, even if you're playing with a random person in your group, you'd always want to talk to them. But I think as a mental thing and a mind game, him and Bryson obviously don't get along. So it's an interesting one. But yeah, look, being from like my background, my last name's Irish, Munster, so I was excited for the fellow Irishman to get it done, but I didn't mind following Bryson as well, used to be a Puma, so I had a bit of a couple of things to do with him. But yeah, I'm just extremely proud of to Rory. It's like a go to the game, not winning a premiership. So like, and I think between the PGA and the Live, I think winning a green jacket, I think it's probably the most prestigious thing you can even probably talk about with a premiership ring. So I know maybe Liv might do something like that similar with a jacket. I'm not too sure if they'll copy him, but I think just around the sporting world, I think you know how prestigious the green jacket is, and you can tell with the ceremony after it, with them presenting him his green jacket. It's pretty cool. You don't get that a whole heap, when you obviously win Masters or majors and stuff like that. You just get given the trophy and you celebrate. Where they had a big ceremony with everyone that had a green jacket sit around and obviously talk about his milestones and everything like that and his achievements, and then give him the jacket and he obviously put it on, so that's a pretty cool feeling. So I think,
yeah, it's like you're bringing that up, like not only in golf, obviously what PGA have got over compared to Liv, but winning a green jacket at the Masters could be the most prestigious individual honor in sports. Like I'm trying to think of other things that are comparable. Gold medal potentially, winning a track gold medal in the 100 meters would be right up there as the best in the world. Like, imagine being the fastest man in the world. Imagine being, the best golfer in the world at a Masters or winning a tournament like the Masters. Like, it's fucking right up there for any sport.
Oh, it is. And when you look back on it and think about other things, you talk about, they might have won $6 million, like one of those guys like Leishman in the Live Golf in Miami, but all they did was get given $6 million, where he still gets paid $4 million or something like that. But he got a green jacket, and it's going to be pretty much in history, written history. So you could think about other things like you spoke about, but I don't know if anything ever gets to it, close enough.
I'll get one for you.
Yeah.
Ollie Lewis Medal, 2020 Origin Series. That'd be right up there.
Oh, no, I don't know. Oh, maybe. Maybe, yeah. You're probably right.
Right up there. Worst Queensland team of all time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We were labelled the worst team, worst spine as well. Yeah, that'd probably be up there for me, yeah. But I think probably the 4 premierships, probably for Penrith as well.
Oh, yeah.
Probably go down with
That's
history
not
with
an individual award, but like in terms of teams, it's right up there. Their Penrith team, you compare it to some of the greatest teams of all time. Yeah, it'd be right up there. No, I was pumped for him as well. Like, I'm not a huge Rory guy. Like, as in, I don't hate him, but I don't like particularly love him or Bryson. Like, they're not really my guys. I've sort of been more Brooks Koepka over the years. I've enjoyed watching, but it's just funny. It's funny to watch it now how they've broken up, but they get to back together for the Masters. Good luck over the weekend, mate. I've got the Dolphins. Dolphins look pretty good. Just a quick one. Dolphins were really impressive against the Panthers on the weekend.
massive. Katoa's an absolute star player. When you got Hammer running the ball in open space, he's always dangerous. So they've got some class outside backs. You've got 2 good centers going really well at the moment, Farnsworth and Averillo. So yeah, they've got speed to burn out wide, and they don't mind chancing their arm. So we'll have to play our best footy on Friday to beat them. I know they had a slow start to the year, but they're starting to hit their straps. So they've beaten the Titans and now Penrith, which is 2 quality teams. I know the Titans have had a couple of bad weeks, but they've showed that their best footy can be in the top 8 or if not the top 4. So we know we got to play our best on Friday to win, but we can nullify Katoa's space in his kicking game. It will go a long way for us to win, I think.
Yeah, he's an absolute gun. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I said good luck when you're playing Manly. You didn't think it was genuine. Good luck this week, mate.
Who's in the Dolphins that you like?
No, I love Katoa. I think he's
good, mate.
He's a proper gun, and he actually turns up to my golf day, and you don't because you keep making grand finals. So can you?
Yeah, but the thing is, there's a difference. I'd rather be winning them.
Come to my golf day at the end of the year.
I'd rather be winning them. Don't worry, Scope. I don't want to keep making them. Far out. I'm 2 from 5, mate.
Thanks, mate. All the best on the weekend.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for having me. All the best, guys.
It has been a while. I know Lukey likes to do this normally at the start of the episode, but if you have just enjoyed our little spiel there on Lachlan Galvin, listen to Money, remember to like and subscribe. So a little bit of an update for the people who haven't done this in a long time. I said I wasn't going to do it every week, but we have grown from 30,000 to 34,000 since this first episode, round 1.
YouTube.
So that's a growth of 30.8K to 34K. So a bit over 3,000 new subscribers on YouTube, an extra 5K on Instagram, and a whole heap on TikTok. Remember, you can like, subscribe on Apple and Spotify as well. All that stuff helps. And that's what allows us to give you the show that takes like we just had on Lachlan Galvin then.
The TikTok, dropping Archer off at school. D in year 6. It's a joke. That's Willie Mason.
Really?
Year 6. Come on, man.
We're going to be careful.
First of all, I'm just saying, don't fucking...
I don't reckon...
No one gets a phone to your buddy fucking 14, 15.
Little side note on the TikTok stuff at the moment. All the Chinese manufacturers with all the tariff garbage that's going on, they're literally selling direct on TikTok now. So you can get your Birkin bags and shit direct from China.
Wow.
I love it.
Well,
anyway, we're big in fucking Maru, bro.
Yep. Here's just we've talked about this. I think this is all like this was an issue last week. I'm just going to put a bow on this one. Yeah, the Spencer and JT, and this is just a take.
Yep.
And this comes from RGBAYR. So I'm not even going to try to figure out what that username means. See, this is the greatest thing about Triple AG. He got in contact with the 2 parties involved, JT and Spencer, asked for each of their sides, reiterates that he understands where they are coming from, and then tells Spence, once this is all settled down, to bury the hatchet, go for a coffee with JT. I think it's a huge misunderstanding from the start and could have been handled a lot better, but Willie Mason is the fucking man for not making any more headlines, adding any more fuel to this beef, which is hopefully all over now. All these journos should learn a thing or two from the Triple OG. Well said, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
And well said, Mace, on it. Just a quickly... this is a bit of reply from the Indigenous versus Māori rep footy chat that we had for the Pacific Champs. Damas wrote this one. In regards to the Indigenous team and New Zealand Māori team, I think it would work if it was like the way the New Zealand Māori Union team play. They do play test matches against teams like the British and Irish Lions, other countries like England or Wales when they tour, but never against the All Blacks.
Yeah.
So the Indigenous Australian team will be in a competition, but never against the Wallabies. And the Māori All-Stars will never be in a competition against the Kiwis. So if a player chooses to play for the Kangaroos or the Kiwis, they cannot play for the Indigenous or Māori team if it clashes in terms of schedule. I think that's a really good way
I
to put it.
understand that, but there's a lot more playing union. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That Māori jersey in New Zealand, union, is fucking special.
Yeah.
It's like, it's pretty, the next one up is the All Black jersey.
Well, the reason I brought this up, and I thought it was a good point, because I actually, so the one test the exhibition game that I got to play in, which was a great honour to me, there was a New Zealand Tri-Nation series that year, New Zealand, Australia and England. England wanted a warm-up match, so they put together a New Zealand Māori team to play, and that's when I got the opportunity to play. Because
That
remember
should
this
be a test too.
remember that All-Star format wasn't around back then when I was playing, so... Mate, that was unreal for me because I got to represent my people. So the benefits to this, it will obviously provide more players an opportunity. It will give Australia and New Zealand an extra team to play test level footy and to build up experience. So just to, I guess, so how it would work with the Pacific Championships, you know how we go straight from final series, 2 or 3 weeks off, and then Tonga end up playing Samoa. And for what, there's been a couple of times where Tonga and Samoa have played and they've just been smoked by Australia or New Zealand in that first game. Maybe a warm-up game against an Indigenous team or a New Zealand Māori team could work in the lead-up.
They should be incorporating the Māori team more. More.
All right, let's get to our PIRTEK fishing competition now. We've been talking about this for the last couple of episodes. So if you could fish one NRL player during the PIRTEK fishing challenge, who would it take and why? Funniest or most creative wins the rod and reel combo, valued at $250. Thanks to PIRTEK fishing challenge. So I've got a couple of new ones for you, Mace, and then I've got my favourite still from Monday's episode down the bottom. So are any of these three going to knock off Little Rojo, who come up with the doozy with all the different names? So Court or Donny. 2 NRL players I would want to come fishing with me are Spencer and JT. Just good vibes all around, and we could really get together and settle the beef.
That would be fun.
It's not a bad way to sort of, sitting on a boat for a while and discussing, your side of the story. The other one's from Damien Kearns. I'm choosing the money man, Munster, but more specifically, 2020 money off the back of that grand final win and straight into the greatest bender of all time. No, sorry, he goes into the bender of the gods. So straight onto the fishing. 2020 money was different. John Rayner, legends. If I could go fishing with an NRL player, I'd go with Cody Rambo Ramsey. Would love to speak to him about his jersey. And I know he's got that mad dog in him. He's a mad fisherman as well, and they are biting. So would go out for a hunt and grab a feed from the bush. But for me, and I know we said we were going to consider some really good nominees there. The winner for me is still Little Rojo. Players that I would want to go fishing with, and he's got a number of them. Jack Whiting, Flake Laurie, Jack Harrington, Rockod Berry, Liam Marlin, AJ Breamson, and Kurt Cutwell. That is the winner.
Jack Harrington would be good.
Are we happy with that, boys?
We are. So he'll have to screenshot his comment from his YouTube account, make sure we can see that he's logged in.
Okay.
Send an email to partner@levelsnetwork.com.au and we'll forward it off to the PIRTEK fishing team.
Done. Beautiful. Australia's largest fishing competition is on. The PIRTEK Fishing Challenge has lasted for 17 years. The event is on April 26th and 27th of 2025. You can still enter now. Go out and go fishing. www.pirtekfishingchallenge.com.au.
And the other part of it, you don't even have to go fishing. You can just be involved in the event to get all those prizes, like the jet skis and whatnot.
There you go. All right, just got one question this week. Nicholas, this is more of a statement as well, and I just wanted to raise this before we get into the games. Hey, boys, love the potty. As always, listen when it drops and learn a few things about this great sport that's rugby league. Just want to shout out the Bulldogs. They are currently selling 4,000 tickets for this week's game against South with a $10 flat, zero service fee price, which is amazing. Which is an amazing initiative for people which may be doing it tough in the current climate and love footy but can't attend. Cheers, boys. Up the doggies.
Yeah, they're doing some good things, dogs.
How good's
good
that?
luck getting a ticket too this week.
What do you think it gets?
It's 70 plus.
Is it?
They've opened up the 6th level. That's Origin. That's Origin level.
Wow. I'm calling the game too.
I'm there. I'm going out there, and I'm going to get an Uber probably.
Yeah.
At about 1 o'clock to watch Reggie's. I'll have to wear Bulldogs paraphernalia out there, or maybe, and then I've got to get dressed in a suit to do a 7 cross after. Yeah, watch the game, all that kind of stuff, and then get out of there after. So it'll be a big day, be fun, be a good game. I can't wait. It'll be pumping. for a fucking club game. That's what our fans are like, man. We're fucking unbelievable. We're the best front runners of all time.
The game is humming when two strong clubs like the Bulldogs and the Rabbitohs can play each other in a meaningful game with stars back. Viliami Kikau's back, Matty Burton's back, Cody Walker's back, Campbell Graham's back.
I was just training yesterday with the Bulldogs. Fucking hell. Satili Tupanua, that's a different human, that.
He's a
beast, mate. He's bigger than you think. And you can see why he hits people like a truck. Like their line speed and how quick he is, and when he's in the middle. Like, we're going to break that game down soon, but like their movements and just the energy at that club is crazy.
You always say it takes a full year after an ACL to recover. He's in that now.
And he's right there in his peak. His movements are so good. Max King, all these middles are just moving so good. I was just sitting there watching their defense, and you're going good when the other side is like, the New South Wales Cup, whatever. They're fucking decent too. Like they scored a couple of tries against our first team. You know what I mean? So I was just
That's mad. Good competition.
Really,
good
I always say iron sharpens iron, and this was fucking going at it, and it was pretty intense. Good to watch.
As always, TJM are back for our preview show. We want to thank our partners for the preview show this year. Remember, TJM for 50 plus years now has stood for Taylor Jones and Mollenhauer. But beyond those initials, TJM means so much more. It means quality, it means innovation, it means pushing the boundaries and striding into the unknown. Just like it is trying to pick a fucking winner in footy every weekend, Mace, this year. So TJM, it takes the lead.
Definitely does. TJM 4x4 Equip was founded almost half a century ago by three mates with an unshakable desire to explore the outdoors. While much has changed in the years since then, one thing hasn't. Our belief in our mission to equip 4x4 owners and the off-road explorers with the gear they need to take them further than ever before.
Maybe like the Bulldogs to a grand final, mate. So whether you're headed to a lonely red dune in the middle of the desert, a lush green hinterland along a thin dirt track, or a sun-drenched campsite nestled by the beach, TJM is here to empower your adventurous side and make your 4x4 ready for anything. TJM.com.au. All right, let's get to the team list for round 7. Kicking off tonight, mate, Seagulls versus the Dragons, and I will just quickly look and see if we can get some... Oh, you've got the teams in front of you?
Yeah, I got them.
I'll start with the odds while you're getting that sorted.
Okay, let's wait.
Manly and St. George tonight. Manly are $1.60 favourites. St. George are $2.35.
Yep.
The line is 4.5.
Okay. Moved. Maybe Caleb Navale? No, Josh Alloway and Shop have been removed. Yeah, there we go. Alloway. Alloway?
Alloy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so the big ins are Jason Saab has returned on the wing. Clayton Failalo drops to the 18th man, but he's now on the 17th man. So there must be just cover for outside backs, I suppose. As for the Dragons, no Christian Tuipulotu out with a hamstring injury. Matt Fiangai on the wing. Back row Dylan Egan has been named despite leaving the field. And Sione Finau is the new 18th man. So watch out for Finau. I don't think it's a lock that Matt Fiangai starts on the wing because he's been thereabouts as well. Mace, what was the price again, did you say, Lukey?
We had, let me bring it back, sorry, I've changed my slides. I have $2.35 St. George, $1.60 Manly. Tab.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the Dragons. I think they're on a bit of a roll. They're just strong, they're big. They play really aggressive. And I like what Gutho's doing. I like Val Holmes on that left edge. This just looks pretty slick, man. It looks slick. Lucci's playing. He's starting now. So I think his skill set on that left is just that little touch.
So I found out some stuff throughout the week. Apparently Luch was crook and spewing up in warm-up and everything.
Right.
So that was a factor in Dylan Egan starting. Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
He looks like he's dropped a couple of kilos. He looks like I think...
But you said on Monday you still like to see him drop a little bit more as well.
Yeah, the coach has had a word to him, get down to a certain... And it's just week by week by week, and hopefully by round 10 he's back to his weight. So I think I'm going St. George. I like Sewer. I like DeBellin, Luch, they're Clemmer. Like they're tough, man. Like Olakau'atu's going to be on the... So that's against Sewer. That's... They cancel it.
No, that'll be Leilua versus Olakau'atu.
Yes, sorry.
Sewer and
so that could be...
Olakau'atu are both right.
Luch needs to be on his game because he's coming. He's coming at him. Yeah. And like Lucci's going to be involved in a lot of those tackles. Hamola is an absolute animal at the moment. He's throwing. Who's next to Luch? Who's his man? Will it be Lockie or Flanagan? I think it's
Flanagan.
Flanagan. He's going to get a lot of traffic. He's going to get that into the ground. See how he does that a couple of times? He gets you and just you think you've got him, and then you're flat on your back.
Mate,
it's just fucking raw power.
On Saturday, he was the only one that was causing any sort of wezzes, and sometimes it's just. I think there was like a scoot that he took down the short side off a quick play. The ball, and he just went, and just people were flying everywhere.
So Lucha's got his hands full.
Yeah,
very much.
I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. I'm on the Dragons in this one because I just think the conditions don't suit. I think if it was a good day, for those who aren't aware, I ran this morning and it was just pissing down with rain. Now, it might improve by this afternoon, but it's still going to be a wet surface. And I think about the game the Dragons had against the Storm a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
They're more suited to the conditions, in my opinion. I think it's a coin flip. If it was dry, I would have gone Manly. It's going to be wet and a little bit dewy. I'm going the Dragons.
And a dry track at Brookvale with Trebojevic, Tommy Trebojevic. That's a different game.
Yep.
That's a different game. These guys are built for just grimy fucking dirt. You know, they love it, St George. They love it. They're a tough team.
Yeah,
very tough.
You look at the guys like Homoli's a standout for Manly, but Takiaho will play well in conditions as well.
You know, can
they get Clemmer?
You know, can they get that?
Silva, DeBellin.
The wide ball to get early ball to Olakuatu, or do you just cross him up, or do you comes against the ruck? So then their middles really cover ground really well. So Jack DeBellin, he's the best defender. He's one of the best defenders in the game.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going Dragons in this one.
Yeah.
All right, Bulldogs versus Rabbitohs. I'm really looking forward to calling this game tomorrow for SEN. Hopefully see you out there too, big fella, if you're doing some gigs out there. Right there. 4:05 p.m. at Accor Stadium. Bulldogs welcome back Matt Birkenstock. Matt and Burton is back after missing 3 games with a knee injury, and Viliami Kikau is a part of the extended squad. Bailey Hayward goes back to the bench. Tilly Tupanora also returns from suspension on the bench. As for the Rabbitohs, Cody Walker is a huge in. He will partner Latrell Mitchell. Now, Bears head of the Brian Fletcher variety said on the run home yesterday that he's hearing it's going to be Lewis Dodd and Cody Walker in the halves with Latrell back in the centre. So watch out. That's not a complete lock, but that's the rumours that he was hearing. So keep an eye out for that with Ewan Aiken going potentially to the back row or bench, Latrell going back into the centre. So watch out for that if that's a late change.
Even with Kicks and that, it could be a late change.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I saw Kicks yesterday. He was around, right? It was a closed session. I'm not going to really say much, but I think they got their captain's run today. And
if he gets all clear through that, then maybe that'll
He looks good. You know, Kicks, he does the work. He does the rehab when he's in. He comes out of rehab. You know, some come out of rehab, they look chubby and a little bit, like especially with knee injury.
Yeah.
He just looks fucking jacked, like fitter.
He only missed a week last year with a broken hand.
Yeah, like he's just like our rehab with Travis Tumar and Rubes and that. They're just onto it, man. Their diet is on point. Like there is no excuse to be sloppy in this game, right? That's why I always look at some players and just go, "Fuck, what are you doing?"
But what about his mental toughness,
Yeah,
mate?
man,
Because
fucking weapon.
I watched him. He was clearly hampered by that hand last year, but still played and didn't play the rest of the season.
You wouldn't know. These medials that he does. You wouldn't know. I saw him a couple of years ago. He done his peck of training. He just kept training. He's just tough, mate. I'm just very surprised.
Just quickly, I've got to finish off the teams.
Are you doing South, are you?
Yeah, let me do South.
Sorry.
Campbell Graham returns on the wing. Alex Johnston, he's the player that's missing out. Sean Kepi was pending judiciary, so let's quickly get... Is Sean Kepi in the starting lineup?
Yep.
All right, so he won that. So, they would have updated that. Jaden Sullivan is serving in 1-game suspension. Shuey is amongst the reserves of the... Josh Schuster variety, and he played New South Wales Cup last weekend, and there are reports that he's close, but I reckon he's probably at least a week or two away. Odds, Lukey?
Bulldogs with Tab up favourites at $1.30, Souths are at $3.50. The line is 10.5.
All right. Well, I see this going, right? I talked about Trell last week against the Cowboys, and they didn't pressure Latrell at all, right? There was no inside pressure. I don't think he's come up against a defense like this.
No one has. They're the best defense.
Yeah, and the amount of work. So he's going to be seen. He's on a different part of the field, right? He's in just outside the post where it's second pass, whatever. So you're going to have Preston, Satili Tupanua will be around about there. Who's a very good mover.
Reid Marnie, defensive four-man sometimes. Yeah,
but you have Preston there who's very quick as well. And when Trell goes across field and a little dummy here and there's ribs exposed and stuff like that,
Apparently he's going to be playing centre, so that might help out a little bit.
that'll help him
Yeah.
a bit, but I'm not sure. I think he's named at 6, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. So
Yep.
we'd prefer him to play 6
Okay.
because he can't, he's got to pass the ball. He's got to dig into the line, so he's going to cop more hits. As a centre, it's more one-on-ones.
He's more dangerous as a runner.
Yeah, he's so scary around the back.
Imagine if he plays left centre against
Yeah,
Critter.
yeah, I know. Well, then, do you know what I mean? Like, at least we've got Critter to sort of take. That's a fucking great challenge for both.
Is that the New South Wales pairing centres
Yeah,
for this
it
year? in
is. It
Origin?
is. And
Critter
it
versus
is. It
Critter?
is. So I'm
Trell
like,
versus Critter, sorry?
Yep. So I'm like, okay, if Trell plays centre, I'm like, yeah. Hopefully they just cancel each other out, right? And he's on the left side of the field. 5'8", if he's in closer to the ruck, we can take care of him because of our line speed and the way that we hunt inside pressure and make him play early. And that's the key. Their forward pack, they're just hard workers, man. They're a good forward pack. There's no forwards that I look at and go, that's a soft pack. Everyone's tough as hell. We just got to do a job. We just need to execute and just play field position with Birdo, the kick chase, or get back into that sort of mould of football. Just defend our asses off because they have got strike power because I'm pretty sure Cody Walker's back.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Like, he's having a few
I'm
similar
not
kicks.
sure, so he'll get through today.
Yeah.
It depends how he gets through, but I'm like, I don't think they're going to be running him through the ringer, and I don't think they're going to be doing that with kicks either, right? So just get through. He's one of the best ball players ever in the game, Cody Walker. So I'm not sure if he still stays at 7 and 6, or do you put someone at 7? Humphries is out.
Oh, no, I just said that before. So
Do you think
apparently,
Humphries is in?
No. Humphries
sorry.
is out. Yes, I said Lewis Dodd is on the bench. Lewis Dodd's going to play his first game in the NRL, 7 and 6 with Cody, and they're going to move Latrell to.
Do you think?
That's what Fletch said, but it's not confirmed.
Yeah,
that's just Bears head. But he normally
He's sort of out.
He wouldn't say
but,
that
I'm
if
not
he didn't get good.
I'm not paying Dodd against us. He'll get fucking crushed. Crushed. So I would be just going, all right, leave Trell at 6 and.
But didn't you say you wanted that too? You
Well,
wanted,
I do, but I'm just like.
But you think that would be worse if they go
it'd be worse if you put Dodd in there. Against this defence,
Yeah.
it's the best defence in the comp.
Yeah, I know
and,
that.
And Wayne is not silly.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get him out there and get him crushed right straight away for his first game. But you know what? Sink or swim, son.
Yep, we'll see.
Put him in 7.
I said a couple of weeks ago that
Put him in 7 then.
yeah,
I would like to see that.
I'm not going.
No, not you. But I'm just saying, not you. But I'm just saying, South.
Yeah.
Put him in at 7.
Okay, all right.
And see, and put Latrell out there. Latrell's still coming back from a hamstring.
Yeah.
Right. So you got Critter, best defensive centre in the game. That's going to be a battle.
I just want to see that.
I want to see that too. So just fucking put Dodd in, Wayne. Come on.
Why don't you give him a text?
Hey,
Send Wayne a
fucking
text.
Wayne. I'll text Wayne.
You can't text
I said
him
if
on-
you beat us or if we beat you, you got to come on this podcast. That's the deal.
I call them the Bowls Constrictors. I think this is the
Yeah.
perfect matchup for them too.
Yeah.
The harder the Rabbitohs try to fight, I think they've been a lot more controlled this year. They'll be
been better.
conservative to begin with, but I think the Bulldogs will just strangle them. And again, conditions suit the Bulldogs compared to Rabbitohs. So
It's going to be a hard game.
It will be a hard
I'm
game.
not underestimating or doubting or just thinking South is going to be awful. They could fucking come here. They're going, we can win. Their confidence is sky high, especially when Cody Walker comes back.
I think every team thinks they can win a
Fucking
game
oath.
now.
I don't think any team goes into a game going, we're getting pumped.
Look at this round in particular.
Because of Penrith.
Yeah.
The only team who was doing that for 5 years was Penrith. Going, oh, fuck, I hope Penrith's off. We might win.
This sounds so crazy. Let's move to the next game.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins will give themselves a chance at Suncorp against the Storm as well.
Yes.
They'll fucking like their chances. So the Dolphins played the Storm 8 p.m. after this game on Good Friday as well at Suncorp Stadium. Now, Wolfie is stuck with the same 17 that got the job done against the Panthers. Imagine if they can knock off the 2 grand finalists in back-to-back weeks. The Storm, Jerome Hughes has been named despite sitting out the second half. Now, apparently he would have been all right to come back and play Mace, but he sat. Suafalongo comes in on the wing for his first NRL game. Grant Anderson moves to the centres. Moses Leo, he's going to miss this game. He's sidelined by a shoulder injury. And something that I don't think's been discussed enough, Nelson Asafa-Solomona has now missed 3 weeks in a row after the Penrith game with concussion.
That's
Concerning.
That's very concerning for the big man. Yeah, well, and that's good for Melbourne taking care of him.
Yeah.
I like that because you want that big man to be finishing the year off.
Do you remember the knock? So remember when he had the head clash with the Nick Meaney?
Yeah, was that
He had
it?
a head clash with Nick Meaney. He actually kept on playing, and it was delayed concussion after the game.
Right,
So
that's the worst.
That's the worst one,
Yeah.
right? Apparently, he felt got back into the sheds, was all good.
Yeah.
And then he started to feel uneasy the
He got the
next day.
facial fracture, Nick Meaney.
Yeah,
in
Nick
that one.
Meaney.
Nick Meaney
Meaney's-
nearly died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big nasty. He continued to play.
Jeez, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, just
So maybe 'cause
they're
he's
in a
a big
position
boy.
now. They're in a position now where you can let Nas miss a couple of games.
Yep.
Because you got your Stefano Utoikamano. It's just like,
Yeah, good work from the Storm by just
yeah,
letting him.
it's good. Just
yeah.
let the big man just and it's
Are
a.
you were you watching it?
I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
He had the nose tape on.
I'm
That
not-
game.
Yeah.
There was yeah. Fuck,
And he
take
replied
it
to
off,
us
man.
too. He replied.
But I think like it's very delicate too with the rehab with the head knock, right? You don't do much for I think 12, 13 days.
Yep.
And then I think maybe he's building back up. So it could be a silver lining in him just getting a little bit fitter,
Yep.
lose about 5 or 6 kilos, come back as a fucking wrecking ball like he is. So that's probably what they're looking at. He'll just give him another couple of weeks. Take your time, big man. You lose a bit of weight because he's fucking huge, and then come into the team and just destroy everyone.
Well, Scope, you like the Dolphins. Tab have them at $4.30. Melbourne are $1.22, and the line is 13.5.
I'm not going against Melbourne. I can't.
Not after last week.
Not after what I've seen for the 2 weeks. That just looks clinical. Harry Grant's on another level. People aren't talking about him like they should be.
he's going.
Because last year his club level was okay.
Yeah.
He would have been pissed off. I said that at the start of the year.
Yep.
Origin, he was disappointing. He's got high standards. He's the best 9 in the game, in the
Easily.
world.
Correct.
And he is fucking doing it now. So I worry about that guy. He's throwing darts, 30-meter darts straight on the chest when money's moving like that. People they underestimate that shit. Pappy, bang, outside the 3-man, lasers, left to right, right to left. He's cutting middles out, and you're trying to work really hard from the middle. Waste of time. Just stop.
With every bit of my core, I want to
Go on then. Come on. I tell you, got it last week.
Fuck it, let's go the Dolphins.
Go on.
I'm on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm
That
taking.
fucking confidence
taking
is
the
here,
line?
mate.
I'm taking the line. Give me the
They're
line
here.
again.
13.5.
Yeah, easy.
Give me
Easy.
that.
Yeah.
Give me that line.
Yeah.
They're going to keep it close.
Yeah.
The Dolphins 13.5.
I like it.
Let's go. I'm on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Shout out to our man Money, who I wished all the best on the athlete segment.
Careful lead.
And now I'm tipping against him. I like what the Dolphins are doing, man.
Yeah. Tough, man. Tough,
Yep.
tough team. Tough team.
Also, actually, the one I did see some news around Jeremy Marshall King. If he doesn't play, then I'm no longer on the Dolphins.
Okay.
Because
Fair enough.
apparently he got a huge gash, 20 stitches. Looked
What, in
fucking-
that knee?
on his leg. He got a cut.
Yeah, right.
And it must have been from a boot, like a bladed boot or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
20 If he doesn't play, he's a huge out. Because you said Harry's been
Whereabouts?
on top of the thigh there.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
He strapped that up.
Bradley.
Yeah, that's what Fox are reporting as of just last night.
Yeah. I've seen it across everything.
Brad Ty.
Yeah, Harry Grant, really good 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Jeremy Marshall King, really good 2
Yeah.
weeks because he was poor against the Knights.
need
He's
him.
been really good since.
Started the year off pretty ordinary,
Yeah.
but he did miss a fair bit of football.
For my same game multis, normally I like to go a little 3-leggers. I'm going hard this weekend. So I've got a theory against the Melbourne Storm. Because they've got non-negotiables, they do not go through us. They have really good wingers that can score tries on either side of the field. So they're a lock. Give me Xavier Coates on the left and Saul Falongo, who is replacing Grant Anderson on the right, who is in place, still missing Will Warbrick. But I'm telling you, I don't mind this Dolphins team, and they can score some tries. And if they are going to score tries, it's not going to be through the middle. So I got all 4 wingers. Normally I like this special back at Amy, but I don't hate it at Suncorp either. So give me Xavier Coates, Saul Falongo for Melbourne, Jermaine Asako,
Always
and Jack
good.
Bostock.
That's pretty good.
Hey, so
That's good.
All 4 wingers to score in this game for $15 with the tab.
Yeah, like it. I like that.
Warriors versus Broncos, Saturday 5:30 p.m, 7:30 local time at Go Media Stadium. The Warriors, so huge losses. James Fisher-Harris Peck. So Jackson Ford will start in the front row, which brings Jacob Laban onto the bench. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Chance Nickel-Klokstad is also out. So Tane Tuapiki moves to fullback. Ed Cossey comes onto the wing. Rocco's Berry's 1 game back sees him suspended for 1 game, which moves Kurt Capewell into the centres, and Leka Halasima gets the starting spot in the back row. Tamati Martin is also a part of the bench for this first game of the season. As for the Broncos, just the one change. Jordan Ricky in place of Jack Chesky, who is serving a 1-game ban, and Jordan Ricky is back from his suspension. Also, of note, remember I mentioned that Jesse Arthur's grabbing his jaw at the end of that game and how I continue to call it out? So he was given a Category 1 by the bunker or doctors' officials. They got it downgraded.
How?
Because he clearly wasn't knocked out.
Okay,
That's my thing with all these players, right? And you've got to be careful. And I keep reiterating, I love all these players. I love Jesse.
Grab your head.
You've got to be careful when you try to jest and work the referees over to get a penalty. Be careful what you do, because they had to go and fight or get a chief medical officer review and downgrade it from a Category 1 to 2 so he could play.
The mentality I would have, just say if I got hit proper in the head, right, and I was rattled and I had to go down, I'd do my boot laces up so it just didn't look like my head was sore. You know what I mean? Like I'd be throwing it off massive. So it's just like I wouldn't be grabbing my head or neck or anything like that. I'd be just like fake, like playing with my sock or boot and just going, get your shit together.
Yeah, chew down on the mouth guard.
Yeah, just go like that, knowing that your head's fucked, right? No. There's little ways. There's no way I'm grabbing my head like, oh, fuck, I'm off, you know? They're looking at you going, get off, mate.
You know who's one of the best? I've said this for years and you'll know this long. At bending the rules and understanding how to use little parts of the game to benefit a rule. Mitch Moses. Remember 2 years ago when Val Holmes hit him high in that game and Val Holmes got sent for 10 in the bin? Mitch gets up straight away, no indication that he's concussed, and starts going like grabbing his jaw because then it's like a jaw, like it's like a structural, like it's a pain injury, and it had nothing to do. So he was just going like looking around like this. So saying, so making it evident that he was clear, like mind, like focus, but he'd been hit in the head, and Val Holmes got sent for 10. He's the best at it. He's the best at it.
Val's off, and you're just like that. Oh my God.
He suddenly went from that. He was like, oh. And then he got sent. And he's like, right, let's go.
Get me kick for touch. Give me the ball. Ball me, Blazer.
Tab have Warriors at $3. Brisbane are at $1.40. The line is 8.5, and I'm not sure if you've got it in the notes, but Brisbane will be having names on their jerseys this week.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, because
that's cool.
They can't have the betting sponsor. They can't have Tab over there because New Zealand's different rules for different countries. Right. They've used that as a unique opportunity to get the names on.
And
that's Aaron Warburton's idea. That's Bulldogs. Come on, man. We'll be using that in Vegas.
Broncos beat you to it.
I know. Come on. But we'll be in Vegas. They won't be. Worldwide, baby. Anyway, I do not see Kurt Capewell handling any of these centres because he's a back rower. The young kid will get his Leka Halasima.
Fuck, Kurt Capewell's played centres for Origin.
I know. That's fucking 4 years ago. He's nowhere near as quick. And I still think he's a great back rower, but that's a different level out there when you're rolling with these speedsters out here. If he's going against Katoni's on one.
You know what? It will be Katoni.
He's an animal, man.
I was disappointed. I'm not disappointed. I was surprised Ali Lautea moved from the right to the left to account for Rocco Berry on the weekend.
Like that.
Yeah, Ali's better on the right.
Yeah, way better. He's been their best player. I want to see Mitch Barnett go Payne Haas. I love seeing that shit. Carrigan's been awesome. Jackson Ford will go out. It's pretty easy. It's a pretty good forward pack. Very well balanced. I don't know why everybody keeps running at Kobe Hetherington. Stop running at him, people. If you're a big man, go run at Payne Haas or Carrigan. They're not going to hit. They're going to hit you around the ball. If you're over 6'2" or 3, Kobe Hetherington's bending you in half.
That Jaden Hunt hits all right too.
He hits good too.
He's got good technique.
Ricky's a good defender. They've got some really good. There's a very well balanced pack. Corey Pages hits good as well. But Mitch Barnett needs to be the best player because he's got his boys out. Bless you. Fisher Harris is out for an extended period. So this is Mitch Barnett's pack. So he needs to play accordingly. I want to see like a Halasima go hard.
Man, the Broncos have got to get this job done. There's too many outs for the Warriors, right? If they don't get the job done,
it's a big fucking blight on.
That will piss me off if they don't get the job done. Yeah. This could be a good game for Walsh as well.
It's going to be tight. Yeah. It'll be a tight game because it'll be slippery over there. It's not going to be the best conditions for Walshy or anything like that. But come on, man. Payne Haas is built for you, son. Paddy Carrigan, Jordan Ricky's back. You know, like he's just get his attack back. Hetherington does his thing. But like these halves, Adam Reynolds, Ben Hunt kick you into a submission. They're back five. Selwyn Cobbo, Reece Walsh. Just got a really good balanced team there. They still haven't figured that shit out. The 7-6-1.
You just mentioned Payne Huss there. I just went and changed my fantasy vice captain. I went and made Payne Huss my vice captain. So the way it works is you can, if your vice captain does really well, you can promote him to your captain later on. Payne Huss has to go after this game. Remember last time they had an underwhelming game?
He's been handled the last couple of weeks.
Remember that last time he had an underwhelming game? Well, not underwhelming. Broncos.
He only made 180 metres.
They were awful against the Raiders. Next week he played the Cowboys and absolutely destroyed them.
Yeah, and I think he's looking at this team. If I'm Payne Huss, I'm like,
Fisher Harris.
I look at this team and go, no one's stopping me. Not one fucking person. I'll run straight at everybody in this pack and good luck.
What's it like as going against your Origin?
Yeah, that
fucking go as hard as you can because that's you be like a Mitch Barnett. You're like, that's why you're on the bench. I'm the starter. Mitch Barnett's is like, I want your starting spot. I need that. So that's the mentality. Mitch Barnett. I need to be the other prop. Right, so Barnett was on the bench last year because of Jakey.
Yep.
And he's like, all right, me and you, like, I need to go equal with you, Payne. Fucking wherever you are, I'll try. You know what I mean? Mitch Barnett's about that shit too. He's a dog. Right, so he's going to go.
There's a starting spot up for
there's a
grabs.
starting spot for him, and he knows it. It's like 4 or 5 weeks of fucking just going at it. And he's like, all right, Payne, let's fucking go. Shake hands and let's fucking bash Carrigan. I want to bash Carrigan. That's fucking Barnett's mentality. I'll fuck Carrigan up. I'll hit you, Payne, but not too hard because we want to play Origin. You know what I mean? But go at Carrigan and bend him in half. That's your mentality.
And that's the clip.
Sometimes you fire me up so much that I just want to go and fucking play when we do these previews. I love it. It's like when I'm fucking go back to meetings that we have before games when you just fire up and I just sit there with a big fucking cheesy grin on my face. All right, let's get to the Roosters versus Panthers. Saturday, 7:35 at Allianz. So Mark Nitawase is back from a calf injury, so he fills the void left by Billy Smith, who was unbelievable last week and is suspended for his hit on Reece Walsh. For the Panthers, some big ins as well. Mitch Kenny returns from a shoulder injury. Casey McLean and Luke Garner will be the new centre pairing. Isaac Tungo has been dropped to the bench with Thomas Jenkins on the wing. Jack Cole has also been listed amongst the reserves as he returns from concussion. So there could be some late changes in this game as well, Mace. What are the odds for the tab, Lukey?
Sydney Roosters with tab are $2.25. Penrith $1.65. The line is pretty short, 3.5.
Where you going, mate?
I'm going the Roosters.
Okay.
I'm going the Roosters. I think Teddy's on a tear. I think he's probably not looking at, oh, geez, if I play better than Dylan, I'll get the Origin spot. But he's just thinking, all right, there's just another little tick if they do need me. Toops is playing lights out. Toops is just Toops, right? You know what you're going to get. Robert Toya can take care of anyone. Dom Young's his play twos have been a lot better, a lot more direct defensively. He still gets lost.
I've got a theory on Dom.
No one going to Wasi.
Like, before we move off it, you know, you talk about his yardage carries. I was watching him closely because he drifts across the field and sometimes gets licked. I don't even say this tongue in cheek. I reckon his hair gets in the way of his face sometimes. And you know what? I'm not even joking, mate.
No.
So when he gets hit initially, right, he gets hit sideways. And he struggles to fight out of contact because I reckon his hair goes all over in his face and he can't see
where to go.
Do you think I'm like watch it this weekend? Watch it this weekend. No, look out for it.
And comment below if you agree.
Below if you agree because his hair goes in his face.
I want to slow mo it. Into his hit ups then.
And then he'll go across field and get hit by someone else. I'm like, how doesn't he see that player coming? And I was just watching his hair go all through his face and going, maybe he should look at cutting his hair. Anyway.
What about, Mace, you've had big hair playing footy.
Yeah, but it was
aft.
Nah, it was aft. He's all dreads down to here. It's pretty long too. It's like shoulder length.
I'm not even joking. So, you know, Euroscope, when I had it at Wakey, when I left France, so I grew my hair out and I used to put it like Paddy Carrigan and throw it up for a little bit. I cut it after a game because it kept on like what would that be called? The fringe?
Yeah, you had
the fringe would just pop into my eye line like that. And I would just be going like that. You see Paddy do it all the time. You always see Paddy going like this and then like
fucking Billy Cross, Billy Smith from Jesse Arthur's.
Yeah.
They're wingers, they can but just that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that shit.
But they're at the level where it's like there.
Yeah. Dom Young's is here.
Dom Young's is fucking watch it on the weekend. Anyway, go, continue.
But I like it. I like it. Sanders Smith, he made a couple of really fundamental fucking under 10 mistakes, right, with just the drop balls. He's better than that. Savala was kicking unbelievable. That's what they missed. That's what they got Townsend for. Fucking kick the game, manage the game.
Yep, agreed.
Savala, bang, he's putting cage kicks up. And then, what's the name? Walsh was catching the ball, bang, hitting on contact. That's what you want to do with the back five, with Dylan Edwards, with Thomas Jenkins and Alamotti. You want to hit these guys, and then you can take care of Garner, Casey McLean coming out and on the second hit up. And then I just think the forward pack, look at Nat Butcher, Nafua White,
Spenny coming off the
Crichton,
bench.
Wasio Wong,
Spenny after a big week coming off the bench.
Spencer, against his old team, he's going to go fucking mental. I just think they looked a little bit under the pump last week. Yowie looked tired for the first time. And this is what happens when you're on the opposite foot of what you've been doing for 5 years. You're losing field position. You're not in the positions where you usually are. Then the gas tank gets empty, right? So I'm just thinking, Lindsay Smith. I thought Lindsay Smith would have been taking a jump to like he was a test player last year, right? He's barely a starter in the game at the moment.
Yeah, he's been playing okay.
Yeah, he's okay, but I'd expected him to just go to another level and don't really feel the pinch of a Fisher Harris, right?
Yeah.
But where they lose it is just like the Blaze Talangi 6. Yeah. He needs to really, really step his game up, because I cannot have Cleary touch the ball 50 times.
Check this out. Roosters 15th versus Panthers 16th.
That's unbelievable.
This isn't week 2 as well, mate.
I know.
We are in week 7, and we have the 15th place Roosters against the 16th place Penrith Panthers.
I can't believe that. And I'm going Roosters.
I'm going Panthers.
Yeah.
I'm going revenge game.
Yeah.
Roosters are the club that started this on the Panthers when they knocked them off round 2.
How I'm going, this will be the game where the Panthers turn around.
Yeah. This is I'm going the Panthers because Roosters started this. They haven't been able to rewrite their wrongs of round 2. It's been a slide ever since. This is a revenge game. You said you were concerned about Blaze Talangi. Mm-hmm. This is the get-right game for him. Yeah. Sandon Smith and Hugo Savala are by no means anyone else that he's been taken on. I think he can have some joy in this game.
I want to see Angus Crichton have a fucking standout game too, because the separation that he was getting last year, he was pretty much untouchable, right? In attack, in defence, he's getting mauled.
He was excellent in this game, round 2.
Yeah, I know,
that was his best game of the season.
Even last week when they were playing, he was getting driven back. He didn't get driven back last year at all. He was getting separation. He was getting one-on-ones, and that's the difference between last year and this year. They're onto him all the time. They're hunting from the inside. They're getting underneath his legs, and they're not trying to tackle him up top.
Yeah,
it's stupid. He's that strong, and it looks like he's dropped a bit of weight. It doesn't look like he's fucking stacked like he was last year.
With all fairness, when you have a breakout season like that,
this is what happens.
Everyone comes after you, right?
And he doesn't have the fucking help.
Well, him and Liam Martin, you could argue both of them are playing below their best.
Yes, and I'm looking at a Huddy Young and an Olakawatu.
So
Huddy Young's the best left side back row on the comp at the moment, and Olakawatu's the best right side at form at the moment. Not picking him for Origin.
I know,
but
I want to focus on the back rows. Let's go through what we've talked about already. But we're going to potentially see Latrell versus Stephen Crichton on Friday night. Followed by, on Saturday, Payne Haas versus Mitch Barnett. And we're going to see Liam Martin toe-to-toe with Angus Crichton.
Love it.
Just Origin auditions all the way across the line.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy?
Who's the dude?
And they're all going to be one-on-ones too.
Yeah.
Because they're in the middle and they're on the edge.
They're all actually...
And they both fucking love contact. They all love contact. It's going to be... It's going to be good to watch.
All right, get right game for the Panthers, in my opinion. I think Nathan and Zoe really stand up in this one. And I have a multi for this game. So we've talked about him. He is due. He was your OG Bull of the week, and he still hasn't scored this week. Scored this year, Mace, but he has been on fire.
Got to.
And I'm speaking of James Tedesco. He is going head-to-head, in my opinion, for an opportunity to fight back and get that Origin spot back against Dylan Edwards. But Dylan Edwards ain't going to give it to him. So he's going to score a try for the Penrith Panthers. And I've got Panthers winning this game in a revenge game for what happened to them in round 2. So I've got...
And what's happened in the last 3 or 4 games. Don't worry about that.
They haven't recovered since.
Nah.
So this is their get-right game. Panthers win in a really good battle against the Roosters with Dylan Edwards and James Tedesco scoring with a price of $12
Yep.
with the tab.
Don't mind it.
All right, let's get to the Titans. Let's get to Sunday. 2 games on Sunday and 1 on Monday for Easter Monday. Titans versus Raiders Sunday, 2 p.m. at Cbus Super Stadium. So, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui is back from suspension, while winger Jojo Fafita will return in the outside backs. So, and also Isaac Fa'asuamaleaui has returned as well. Phil Sammy slides into the centres. Beaufort goes back to the back row. Cleese Haas goes from the bench, to starting back row to the bench, and David Fafita remains in the starting side. So Chris Randall will also go to the bench. As for the Raiders, they get Zach Hosking returning after missing 4 games with a hand injury. So Simi Sasangi drops to the reserves. And this game, this is after they've returned from Darwin. This is a tough one to pick as well. There are no easy games this week, Mace. Lukey, what are the odds for this game?
Gold Coast favourites with Tab at $2.15. Canberra at $1.70. The line is 3.5.
Yeah, I'm going with Canberra. I think they're on a bit of a run. They're playing some really good football. Their back 5 is strong. KO Weeks, I think he's coming into his own. He's more confident in taking the high ball when the first 3 or 4 rounds was fucking all over the shop.
Well, look at this game again. AJ Brimson and Jaden Campbell. He's not going to get peppered.
No, he's not getting fucking. He's not getting reverse torpies from.
Jaden Campbell might throw a few curly ones at him, but
catch him behind his back.
There's not going to be the the cage kicks.
He'll catch AJ Brimson's balls behind his back. But I like the way Ethan Strange was playing.
Yep.
Fogarty's playing. I think Fogarty's playing for like nearly his career. 31 years old. He wants a 2 or 3 year deal. He's just going to need to keep on proving Sticky wrong and just going, okay, I'm your dude. I'm your guy. I'm your guy. And Manly's going to go, well, fuck, what are we going to do with our DCE? We need a 7, a genuine 7. Great game controller. Good kicking game. Defensively, hits like a truck as well.
Good defender,
This is all money for him. This is the setup for the rest of his life. So I think he's playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Did you hear on SEN when he told Fletch the exact things going on in his contract?
No, I heard he was on there, and I heard he talked about the deal, but no, not the details.
Yeah, so he talked about round 20. So there was a round 6 clause in the club's favour, and they've let him
go that.
So now he's got to round 20.
It's in his favour, right?
I believe so.
But the price has gone down.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he just needs to get it back up.
But I just love he wasn't even him on the interview. He was just
with Croaks.
He was with Croaks. He was looking after his kids. He goes, he's in the living room.
By the way, massive shout out to Tootsie, aka Jared Croker. Gun at tipping harness. Gun. I've done a few Tuesday shows. He calls it harness. Yeah. And
harness.
They're crooks too, the harness. So if you get good mail, they're gun mail. Not that he's a crook, but if you know the mail, you know the mail. He's a gun at pick and trotters. I'm telling you, he gives us
Jared or Jason. Which one?
Jared.
Okay.
Jared. Yeah, he gives the 2-3 leg because he's got trotters as well.
Okay.
He gives 2 to 3 leg multis, mate. They fucking hit so much. He's a gun. Yeah. Anyway, so he was just in the background and Fogarty jumped on. I found that. Yeah, that was interesting.
Forward pack's going to be interesting, isn't it? Fodawaker, Verrills, Gillard, Fifita, Fermor, Fasul, Malawi, Horsburgh, Starling, Tarpanay, Huddy Young, Matty Nicholson, Morgan Smithies. That's just.
I've got big tick to the Raiders at backs, but fuck, it's going to be a good battle.
It's going to be even here, man. I like how the Raiders play. Fodawaker's pretty straight up and down, right? Campbell Gillard straight up and down. Fasul Malawi's there, do bit of footwork, late offload. Fafita, you just don't know what fucking Fafita you're going to get, right? So, Matty Nicholson, he'll be probably on his side. Depends where Fafita plays. Both for Moore's a solid player. I think they can handle their strike plays quite well because Canberra attack in numbers and they hit really hard defensively. I think I know what Sticky's like with a player like David Fafita. He's going to get a lot of attention, right? So I think whenever he gets the ball, you watch his first couple of hit-ups, Sticky will be sending 3 minimum at him. And same as Tino, right? All their best players, you just got to try and attack them, take their weaknesses out, and they attack in packs, right? So I like the Raiders because I just like what they're building here. They're pretty when they go back to just playing smash mouth football like Tarpanay, Big Papa, Horsburgh, Huddy Young comes in off an edge, Smithies runs these little lines here and there. It's just hard to beat. And the kick chase, like Fogarty puts you in a corner, then Sebastian Chris and Timoko and all these, Savages and all these blokes, and Hot Tamale goes good. Like he's going good as well. And then the fullback, they go hard. And I'm like, that's a hard team to beat if they can maintain a fucking 80 minutes.
Yep.
But then you get the one that they turned up at Brookie.
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't think we'll see that one that often.
That was
That's
an
one
outlier.
every like 15 games.
That was a weird game. We talked about New South Wales matchup.
Yeah.
I think there's one spot up for grabs, and it could be between Mo Fotuaika and Corey Horsburgh.
Yeah.
For bench spot or a starting spot
Yeah,
for
big
Origin.
time. Fotuaika was part of that team last year, so
Yep.
that doesn't mean he gets the jump on Horsburgh.
No.
Because they lost. So Horsburgh's like, I had a down year last year. He's probably his worst year of his career. Now he's having career best form. He
Good
belongs
matchup.
in the Origin sort of
And
arena.
Tino's
He's
there, so he
tough.
can centre stage.
Tino's there. Like
Smokies.
He's going to go after Tino.
2 Smokies going head to head. Hudson Young, both for more. I think will be a shout for Origin this year.
Yeah.
Look out for both.
Moore's is he New South Wales? He's Queenslander, isn't he?
Queenslander.
Yeah.
Queenslander.
Yeah, Huddy Young's he's the guy at the moment.
Yeah. Raiders. Knights versus Sharks, Sunday, 4 p.m. at McDonald Jones Stadium. Your man Tyson Gamble is back, Mace. So he takes over at the 7. James Schiller, he returns from concussion. He's a big in. Phoenix Crossland, therefore, this is the part that I love about the Gamble situation. It moves Crossland back to hooker. That's his best position. Jaden Brayley goes back to the bench. Frizz has been named at prop with Tyron Thompson reverting to the bench. Mudders Croker to start at lock. Matt Arthur drops out. Jack Cogger is listed amongst the reserves. Watch out for Adam Fanua-Blake because Fitzy is named an unchanged lineup, but he left the Manly game with a groin strain. So I'm not totally sold that he's going to be okay to play in this game. But Lukey, what are the odds for this game?
Tab of Newcastle are $3.10. Cronulla are $1.38. The line is 8.5.
I don't know about the Knights home. I don't know. So what's it taking 6 rounds for you to fuck around with the halves again? Tyson Gamble comes in.
To be fair,
Where's the other guy?
Cogger, it was forced
Cogger?
through injury. So he missed with the fucking pinky thing, which moved Phoenix Crossland. But yeah, they were solid with Cogger and Fletcher Sharp for the first 3 or 4 games, and then now Gamble apparently was always the preferred option, but this is his first game back from a back injury as well.
Okay. I think it'll be a little bit rusty, and Sharp still hasn't figured it out where he belongs in that team, whether he's on a sweep or whether he's a ball player, whether you know what I mean. Until they figure that out, that it just looks all over the place. You know, they need to complete like Marju. I don't expect a fucking drop ball from you at all, mate. Not one mistake compared to what he did last week. Same as, like their back 5. They can't afford to do that because their forwards, they're decent, but like that other team, they've got a better forward pack. You take Fanua-Blake out and then it's sort of, you probably start the Dolph or Hazelton, or you put like, I don't know what you do with Talakai. I need him in the starting side somewhere. You could just put McInnes up there or something like that. I don't know, or start Talakai in the middle. I don't. Knights are all right, but they don't look like they can threaten the shit out of you. Right? It's going to be up there at McDonald Jones Stadium, which is a hard place, but like it's back to Kalen Ponga ball. Where's Kalen?
Do you think Kalen can beat the Sharks?
No. It's getting back to that one-dimensional stuff. Well, where's Kalen? Let's stack another number there. And Fitzy's such a great fucking operator in defence, and they'll put a lot of pressure on him. They won't even care about Tyson Gamble or where he's on the field, or even Fletcher Sharp, because he's never really in a left or right position and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, they just feel just all over the shop, Newcastle.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Fletcher Sharp does worry you in a different way.
In a different way. Not structurally, but like, where's Fletcher Sharp? Okay, let's just put some more, wherever Fletcher and Kalen are, let's just put one more number over there. And if you got man on man and you see Tyson on a long 4 with like 4 or 5 players and 3 defenders, you'd probably fucking leave 3 and put 7 on the long side because the markers can drop back and then you can take care of that, mate. Easily.
That's where I reckon Fletcher would do his best work.
But no, I'm saying Fletcher's on that side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you got Tyson here with the centre thing there.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't leave it.
You got 3 defenders there. You can have 3 on 3. Your marker drops back. That's 4 on 3. It's easy.
Yeah.
Even if they had another number on 4 or 5, you can deal with that. You can just, with the markers work properly, the markers drop back, and then that 3 turns into 5, and then it's 5 on 5.
I have no I don't have a huge read on this. I've got no faith in really either of them right now, especially if Adam's out. So I'll take the home team with the better price.
Okay.
That's why I'm on the
That's
Knights.
fair. All right.
For the Sunday game multi, we just talked about the Knights versus Cronulla. Because I'm unsure of where this game's going to go, and I think it's a coin flip, give me the 8.5 for Newcastle.
Yeah.
I'll take the start. And for all those reasons you were talking about and alluding to with Greg Marzhew, bounce back game. I think he holds on to the footy this week.
And he carves. So
And he scores. But I also like Stone Street for the Cronulla Sharks. We talked about him. He's a bit of a dude.
He's a dude, eh?
They're marking up on each other. The reason that wingers score so many tries is because they're marking up on other wingers, right? So Greg Marzhew against Stone Street on the right, Greg Marzhew on the left, a try each, $8 multi.
Who was the winger for Cronulla during area? Luke
Covell.
The
He's
goal
Luke
kicker.
Covell 2.0.
That's
Stone Street.
That's his favourite player.
I fucking knew it. It's 2.0, just a little bit quicker. I'll take Stone Street over 40 now.
All right, let's get to the last game. The Tigers versus the Eels at CommBank Stadium. I'll be out calling this game as well. Really looking forward to this game. Lachlan Galvin has been dropped, unfortunately. So if you missed the start of the show, Jerome Luai and Adam Dewey are combining in the halves. Brent Naden returns from a knee injury. I thought he was out for the season.
Out for fucking at least a season. It's good.
Luke Laley comes in on the wing for Jarrell Skelton. That's a big out. Jarrell Skelton's been good for him. And as for the Eels, huge in. Moe, don't worry. Mitch Moses is back, named to play in his first game of the year. Also, Jack Williams, who was one of Parramatta's best through the forwards, is back from a knee injury really quickly. Kelma Tuolangi returns to the back row. Matt Dury and Luca Moretti are on the bench. And I've got a whole bunch of notes that Lenny has been fucking with my laptop, and she's just put some stuff in there.
Not a bad side when you put Mitch Moses in there. If you have a look at like most teams, how Burton's out and our kicking game just went down, right? Sexton did pick it up, right? But it's like getting you out of yardage. You make 30 metres and you're on your 40. He'll kick it in your 10 metres in your cage kick. Then the kick chase has to do their job. He'll get you out of yardage all the time. If he kicks from the 30 or 40, he's going to cage kick. So that's what you'll see. You'll see a totally different Parramatta side because of Mitch Moses. And then Dylan Brown just gets to fucking play football. Hopefully he has a crack.
Talk me through all the drops from Para as well.
Yeah, Sean Lane.
Off and Gower.
Just basic stuff, right? That you expect, like from an NRL player, you don't really expect that. And that's just a concentration thing. And it's concentration and it's fatigue. When you're on the back foot the whole time and it's hard. But these are the little things that you just bring to the table as an NRL player. Just the simple drops in contact, drops in, like with Sean Lane, and just they'll be better. They'll be better this week. All they'd be thinking about is fucking just don't drop the ball.
Have you got the odds?
I do have the odds. Tab have Tigers as favourites still at $1.70. Parramatta at $2.15. The line is 2.5.
I'm going Para.
Ooh.
Yeah. I just think Mitch Moses changes so much with that team.
Well, the huge part of it, and respectfully, I talked about reserve graders. Not only do you get Mitch Moses back, but you go from Dean Hawkins to Mitch Moses. That's a considerable upgrade.
And then you go from that to Dylan Brown going, fuck, I don't have to do everything because I'm not that dude. I can just play footy and just dominate that left side.
Think about the spine of Yongi, Dill Brown, Hawkins, and Riley Smith to Yongi, Dill Brown, Mitch Moses, Riley Smith. It makes you even think Riley Smith and Yongi are better by just seeing his name with those guys. Hey, they're young players and they're going to be good players, but do you reckon he's going to be fired up this week, little Riley Smith?
Do you reckon he'll do the same thing what we've been saying? He'll start on the bench?
Potentially. Come on and agitate the shit out of...
the Tigers...
There's going to be a lot of feeling.
The Tigers are not the most aggressive side, right? If you're playing against like the Broncos and stuff like that, like with the Riley Smith, you don't want Payne Haas running at him 10 times. You could fucking throw him off and everything like that. But against the Tigers, Terrell May runs pretty hard, but he's not fucking destructive. Bolle's not. They're not that big destructive sort of team. When you play against all these other packs, then you limit, especially young kids like smaller nines. You don't really want them out there copping all that hits until they'll progress into that. But, if he can make an impact off the bench, play some good football, so be it. Well, that's Rolsey's call.
I'm going the Tigers. They've shown more to me. I know Mitchie's going to be big and he's going to improve them, but Tigers have shown enough to me this year that they've been way more consistent. I've got more faith in sort of what they've been doing as a whole. So, yeah, expect Parramatta to be better, but I think the West Tigers, I think it's going to be highly emotional. I think there's going to be a lot of shit in this game. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns. Tigers in a tight one.
I think
Tigers in 5.
with this game as well, we'll review this one on Thursday's show because we're still recording on Easter Monday,
Okay.
just with our schedule.
Okay, yeah, true.
Just
yeah.
to let the fans know that.
Yeah,
so
good point.
We will drop the episode straight after this game. It won't have this game's review in it. So, Mace, you've tipped the Roosters and you've tipped Parramatta, which leaves Penrith at the bottom of the table at the end of the weekend.
Yeah. Fucking who would have thought? But, you know, this will be the best thing ever if they even make the 8. That's
Oh,
how
wait a
much-
minute. Actually, what's these mind games you're playing? Why are you tipping the Eels?
I don't know. I don't think the Tigers are equipped enough mentally and leadership wise to get out there and deal with this. If this was anyone else like a Brisbane or a team that's like got great leadership and everything like that, I would back them. I don't think they can. It's a mental thing, right? I don't think, and the coach and everyone's getting questioned right at this time. Everybody's getting questioned. The coach is not there. The administration, as a club, just through these last couple of days through Galvin, I'm not sure if they can fucking galvanise and get together and get this win. Mitch Moses is a big inclusion. Mitch Moses wasn't playing, would not be near Parramatta because my heart wouldn't let it, but my brain is thinking.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to back Jerome Law. I think he's been through some big moments. He can be that steady influence. I'm for all the reasons you said.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of faith in anyone else at the Tigers.
Yeah.
But Jerome, he's got the runs on the board. I think he gets to do
And he's
it.
put his balls on the wall too.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah. And
He
if I
has.
sit here next week and they win, yeah, well, fuck, I was wrong.
So be it. We eat it, don't
who
we?
cares?
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website